Chapter 612. Qin Feiyang looked at it for a while, then looked away and scanned the surroundings. Why didn't he see any trace of the black dragon snake? If it was dead, there should be a corpse. He looked up at Dongfang Wuhan and shouted, "Senior brother Wuhan, where is the black dragon snake?" "It escaped, and now I don't know where it is?" Dongfang Wuhan answered without looking back. "Escaped?" Qin Feiyang frowned and entered the castle in the next moment. Looking at Wolf King lying on the altar, he looked at Shen Mei and asked, "You haven't broken through yet?" Shen Mei said, "It should be soon." Qin Feiyang nodded and strode to the altar. He opened the iron box and took out the fire of life. Then, he closed the iron box and held the fire of life in his big hand. He once again appeared on the short mountain and looked at the battlefield. The energy of the fire of life was extremely majestic. Like a torrent, it constantly rushed into Qin Feiyang's body. The injuries in his body were recovering faster than before. And the battle between Dong Xingyang's group and the Crocodile Emperor had also reached its climax. Waves of destructive air blasts came crashing down with earth-shattering momentum. The mountains and earth around Qin Feiyang were collapsing and cracking. The rumbling was deafening. "With the advantage, it seems that I don't need to make a move," Qin Feiyang muttered. Although the Crocodile Emperor's defense was amazing, the combined combat power of the five was not bad and gradually gained the upper hand. Kacha! Boom! At this moment, suddenly, a loud sound came from the right. And Qin Feiyang was surprised and hurriedly turned his head to look. He saw the ancient trees breaking, the mountains collapsing, and the ground shaking violently. A pitch-black giant python was rushing towards them. "I was worried about where to find you," Qin Feiyang muttered. That's right. That giant python was the black dragon snake. However, seeing the appearance of the black dragon snake, Shen Long and the others were shocked. One must know, it was not easy for them to gain the upper hand. If the black dragon snake and the Crocodile Emperor joined forces, they would definitely die. At this moment, Qin Feiyang said, "Don't get distracted. I'll deal with it." "Can you do it?" Dong Xingyang asked. He wasn't doubting Qin Feiyang's ability, but he was worried because Qin Feiyang had been seriously injured before. "No problem." Qin Feiyang nodded. "All right, try your best to hold it back. Once we're done with the Crocodile Emperor, we'll come and help you immediately. Everyone, let's work harder." Dong Xingyang roared. The five of them gave it their all to suppress the Crocodile Emperor. The Crocodile Emperor roared continuously. However, it was useless as the outcome had already been decided. In the meantime, the black dragon snake had no intention of helping the Crocodile Emperor. It went straight to the short mountain below Qin Feiyang's feet. Qin Feiyang laughed and said, "You still dare to come back?" The black dragon snake said disdainfully, "Why wouldn't I dare? The battle between you and me is not over yet." Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "No, when I destroyed your dragon scales, our battle was already over. Bastard, die for me." At the mention of the dragon scales being destroyed, the black dragon snake was furious. It opened its mouth wide and spat out venom. It was like a sharp arrow, shooting towards Qin Feiyang. Fight! Qin Feiyang's battle-intent soared. His blood-red hair danced in the air. He raised his right hand and slammed it in the air. Boom! A dazzling golden light surged out like a tide and pounced on the poisonous liquid. Whoosh! Immediately, the venom turned in the air and shot towards the black dragon snake. What? The black dragon snake was stunned. "Are you kidding me? Is this possible?" Poof! In an instant, the venom was all sprinkled on its body, emitting wisps of black smoke. However, it was a poisonous creature and had a certain immunity to poison. Moreover, it was the venom that it spat out. Naturally, it couldn't hurt it. Of course, Qin Feiyang didn't expect the venom to hurt the black dragon snake. He was just stalling for time. When his injuries were healed, it would be the time for the black dragon snake to submit. Qin Feiyang laughed. "Why don't we talk again? Talk your sister." After being thwarted repeatedly, the black dragon snake had long lost its patience. How could it be in the mood to talk nonsense with Qin Feiyang? Behind it, a huge beast shadow suddenly appeared. Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked over. His eyes were burning with passion. That beast's shadow was actually a black dragon. It was dozens of feet long, and was like a mountain ridge in the sky. Waves of dragon might. And this black dragon was the black dragon snake's battle soul. It had already activated the dragon soul. So wouldn't the chances of transforming into a divine dragon be even greater? He had to subdue it. Qin Feiyong waved his hand, and a round fatso appeared. What? When he saw the black dragon soul above the black dragon snake, Fatso's eyeballs almost popped out. Because his battle soul was also a black dragon soul. He asked in a daze, "Boss, what's going on?" Qin Feiyong smiled and said, "Originally, I wanted to take it as a mount, but after thinking about it, it's more suitable for you." Mount? Fatso was stunned. He sized up the black dragon snake from head to toe and said disdainfully, "How can this ugly little bug be worthy of Fat Lord? Damn it, you're calling me a little bug again. Could it be that in your eyes, I'm so unbearable? It seems that if I don't flip out, you guys really think I'm a sick cat." The black dragon snake was so angry that it was on fire. Roar! The black dragon soul above its head suddenly raised its head and let out a dragon's roar. Then, it bared its fangs and brandished its claws as it pounced towards the two of them. "Even if you show your might, you're still a sick cat." Fatso still had a look of disdain on his face. He turned to look at Qin Feiyong and said, "Boss, can you not waste Fat Lord's time? Fat Lord still has to hurry up and break through to 2-star War Master, so that he won't be surpassed by you. Don't worry. Let me tell you secretly, it has a great chance of transforming into a real dragon in the future. Think about it when you ride it out. How cool and handsome will it be?" Qin Feiyong said in a low voice. Fatso was surprised and asked, "Really? Why would I lie to you?" Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes at him. Fatso was overjoyed, but then frowned and asked, "Then is the probability of transformation high?" Qin Feiyong thought. According to the current situation, it has both dragon scales and dragon soul. The probability should be above 70%. This probability is enough. Fatso immediately became excited. Dragon Knight, TSK TSK TSK. Just thinking about it made him drool. He suddenly turned around, looked at the black dragon snake, and shouted, "Immediately submit to Fat Lord, or else Fat Lord will kill you and make soup." "Fuck, who do you think you are? Dragon soul, tear him apart for me." The black dragon snake roared, burning with anger. "It's just him, no way." Fatso shook his finger, revealing a face full of contempt. Next, he turned his gaze and looked at the battlefield where Dong Jungyang and the others were, and chuckled. "Dongfang Wuhan Morong Xiong. All of you open your eyes wide and look at Fat Lord. The reason why Fat Lord didn't fight with you in the past was not because he was afraid of you, but because he didn't want to bully the weak with his strength." Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong were both shocked and angry. "What nonsense are you talking about? Hurry up and go." Qin Feiyong's face darkened, and he directly kicked Fatso's butt, sending him flying. "Boss, Fat Lord wants to break off all ties with you." Fatty immediately let out a furious roar. "All right." Qin Feiyong laughed in ridicule. Fatso's face changed. After stabilizing his body, he hurriedly turned his head to look at Qin Feiyong and waved his hand. Don't. Fat Lord is just joking." Finished. He turned his head to look at the black dragon snake and shouted, "Little bug, surrender, transform." Boom. As his voice fell, a powerful aura roared out from his body. The clothes on his body were instantly torn to pieces, leaving only his underwear. "What's going on?" Qin Feiyong was shocked. But the next moment, an astonishing scene occurred. Black scales appeared all over Fatso's body, about the size of a thumb, glowing with a dark light. "Are these dragon scales?" Qin Feiyong was dumbfounded. The black dragon snake's eyes were also wide open, full of disbelief. The most incredible thing was that Fatso actually had a tail on his butt, and it was also a dragon tail. Seeing this scene, Dong Jungyang and the others who were not far away were also shocked to the extreme. Even the crocodile emperor couldn't help but look at Fatso strangely. And at the same time, Fatso's hands and feet began to twist, as if something was trying to drill out from under his skin. Finally, his nails grew longer and his fingers thickened, turning into dragon claws. Dragon scales, dragon tail, dragon claws. Qin Feiyang muttered to himself, as if he suddenly thought of something and said in surprise. Could this be? That's right. Fatso nodded and laughed wildly. This is Fat Lord's perfect battle art, dragon transformation art. Boss, how is it? Fat Lord's dragon warrior looks handsome. Handsome? Qin Feiyang nodded. What? You also have a perfect battle art. The black dragon snake's eyes trembled. At the same time, the dragon soul also stopped in the void. Dongfang Wuhan and the others were even more shocked in their hearts. Originally, they thought that only Qin Feiyang had a perfect battle art, but they didn't expect this wretched Fatso to have one too. So to say, even Ruffian Wolf and Lu Hong had one too? The Crocodile Emperor's pupils also constricted. They even had a perfect battle art. What kind of monsters were these humans? Fatso looked at Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong proudly, then raised his head to look at the black dragon snake, and said proudly, I'll give you one more chance, obediently surrender, or else you'll suffer. The black dragon snake was mad with anger and roared. So what if you have a perfect battle art? See how this emperor will deal with you. Boom. The dragon soul continued to attack Fatso. Little guy. Fatso disdainfully raised his hand and punched the dragon soul's head. No. It should be called a dragon claw now. Ayo. The dragon soul wailed on the spot. Its head instantly shattered, and its huge body also disintegrated. So strong? Qin Feiyang was flabbergasted. One had to know that that was a battle soul, and a dragon soul at that. It was many times stronger than an ordinary battle soul, yet it was actually scattered with a single punch. Wasn't this too ridiculously strong? However, although the dragon soul had been dispersed, Fatso's dragon claw had also shattered, and he was sent flying, crashing into the ground beside the short mountain. Obviously, the dragon soul was also very powerful. The black dragon snake was shocked for a while, then lowered his head to look at Fatso and sneered. The perfect battle art isn't that great. Haha. Fatso jumped up like a carp and stood firmly on the ground. He did not seem to be injured at all, and was full of energy. It's too early for you to boast. The dragon transformation art is not as simple as you think. Fatso grinned, and the aura around his body suddenly soared. 2-star War Master. 3 breaths of War Master. For Star War Master. Only when Fatso's aura soared to the level of a 5-star War Master did it stop. Looking at the arrogant and awe-inspiring Fatso, the shock in Qin Feiyang's heart could not be any greater. Chapter 613. The fatty looked at the black dragon snake in an overbearing manner and chuckled. How is it? Did I scare you? Scared? Don't joke around. Who do you think you are? If my dragon scales were still here, killing you would be as easy as slaughtering a dog. The black dragon snake was disdainful. In fact, it was scared, but its pride did not allow it to admit it. Continue to be arrogant. It just so happens that Fat Lord has time today. I'll slowly play with you. Fatso snickered and took a step forward. His speed suddenly skyrocketed. In the blink of an eye, he landed in front of the black dragon snake. The dragon tail on his, but was like a long black whip, fiercely whipping the black dragon snake. Ayo! The black dragon snake let out a miserable howl, and was sent flying on the spot. The place where it was hit was even more lacerated and fresh blood gushed out. Damn Fatso, I'm going to skin you! The black dragon snake roared, its anger soaring to the sky. Come on! Fatso hooked his finger provocatively. Qin Feiyang, who was standing on the short hill, could not help but shake his head. After the transformation, Fatso not only increased his cultivation to a 5-star battle master, but his defense was also comparable to a 5-star battle master. In other words, the dragon transformation art was a perfect battle art with both offense and defense. With Fatso's current combat strength, dealing with the black dragon snake without dragon scales was simply like playing with a toy. On the other side, the battle between the Crocodile Emperor and Dong Xingyang's group had begun again. The Crocodile Emperor was still being suppressed by the 5 of them. However, the 5 of them also had different degrees of injuries on their bodies. After all, the Crocodile Emperor was a 2-star battle master, and its strength was not inferior to anyone. Coupled with the scales on its body, its defense was extremely terrifying. It was definitely impossible for the 5 of them to escape unscathed. However, the battle situation had stabilized. The final winner would definitely belong to their side. Qin Feiyang also heaved a sigh of relief, and then immersed his mind into his body. The majestic energy of the fire of life was like a tide surging in his body. The damaged internal organs had already been repaired. Next, he calmed himself down and listened to the movements around the island. Immediately, a series of low rumbling sounds came from afar. It was obvious. The crocodiles were still destroying the footholds around the island. Judging from the direction of the sound, they had already arrived at the left and right sides of the island and were moving forward. Hurry up, or it'll be too late. Fatso, stop playing around and subdue it. Qin Feiyang shouted and entered the castle, putting the flame of life into the iron box. He didn't dare to carry such a treasure with him. Wolf King hadn't broken through yet either. Qin Feiyang glanced at it, then left the castle, and appeared at the peak of the short mountain. Roar! Rumble! When Dong Junyang and the other 4 heard Qin Feiyang shout, they sped up and attacked the crocodile emperor crazily. It was as if he was going all out. In the meantime, in the face of the storm-like attacks from the 5, the crocodile emperor quickly lost its ability to fight back. Its injuries continued to worsen, and it was on the brink of death. Fatso also stopped playing around and attacked the black dragon snake, causing it to flee and howl miserably. It seems that the battle will end in less than 100 breaths. There should still be time. Qin Feiyang glanced at both sides of the battlefield and muttered to himself. But suddenly, his pupils contracted, and his gaze swept around the short mountain. The surrounding mountains and rivers were collapsing, and the earth was collapsing. The terrifying shockwaves from the battle were destroying everything in its path. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang looked down at the short mountain under his feet, and his eyes were filled with doubt. How could this be? He kept muttering. One had to know that there were countless mountains that were taller and larger than this short mountain in the surroundings. As for those mountain ridges, they had all collapsed and turned into ruins. But why hadn't this short mountain collapsed yet? Although the short mountain had been trembling from the beginning, accompanied by gravel and mud sliding down, it was still intact. This was obviously beyond common sense. How could a short mountain that was hundreds of feet tall withstand such a violent bombardment? Could it be that there was something hidden underneath? With that thought, Qin Feiyang stomped down with all his strength. Boom! The short mountain shook violently at once, and the soil and gravel slid down in pieces. But it still didn't collapse. Qin Feiyang was dumbfounded. The strength of his stomp was enough to crush mountains and rivers, but it couldn't do anything to a short mountain made of mud? This undoubtedly confirmed his thoughts that there was something inside the short mountain. He glanced at the ground and found a crack. Then he squatted on the ground and dug the crack open. He found that it was black inside. What is it? His eyes were filled with surprise. Could it be some kind of mystical iron? Suddenly, Qin Feiyang became excited. It seemed that he had accidentally encountered some kind of treasure this time. He hurriedly took out a dagger, but it was not Chang Shui. It was just an ordinary dagger. Then, he grabbed the dagger and dug with all his strength. For a time, the soil in this place splashed everywhere. Clang! Suddenly, the tip of the dagger rubbed against the black mystical iron and exploded with an ear-piercing metallic sound and sparks. It's really mystical iron. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. Although this dagger was far from Chang Shui, its sharpness was enough to cut through hair. However, the friction just now only left a slight mark on the mystical iron. One could imagine how hard it was. But what kind of mystical iron was it? Qin Feiyang lowered his head and studied it carefully. The surface of the mystical iron was covered with irregular patterns, like the bark on a tree trunk. Gradually, another feeling arose in his heart. This godly metal seemed to be somewhat familiar, as if he had seen it somewhere before. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. He looked up at the crocodile and sized up the scales on the crocodile. After careful observation, he found that the scales on the crocodile were almost exactly the same as the mystical iron in front of him. Could it be? Qin Feiyang's gaze trembled. He lowered his head and looked at the mystical iron. There was a trace of horror in his eyes. Then, he hesitated and reached out his hand, pressing on the mystical iron and sensing it carefully. Thump. He actually sensed a weak heartbeat. Damn it. Without hesitation, Qin Feiyang stood up suddenly. As if his butt was on fire, he jumped down and shouted, "Stop fighting, run! Run!" Dong Jungyang and the other four immediately looked suspicious. The crocodile was almost exhausted. Victory was right in front of them. Why would they run? Fatso was also puzzled. "Don't hesitate, quick!" Qin Feiyang roared. At the same time, he used the phantom steps, and like an arrow he shot forward. Dong Jungyang shouted, "Don't listen to him. Kill this beast first." It was not easy to injure the crocodile. If they left now, wouldn't all their previous efforts be in vain? Dong Jungyang looked at Qin Feiyang's back. His eyes flickered. Suddenly he said, "I'm not going to accompany you. Have fun by yourself." After that, he directly chased after Qin Feiyang. Shen Long and Jiang Wei looked at each other and immediately retreated. Then, they turned around and followed Dong Jungyang, quickly leaving. "Boss is so flustered. This is the first time I've seen him. What did he find?" At the same time, Fatso muttered and decisively gave up on the black dragon snake. He used the return to one step and flew away like lightning. "What's going on?" The black dragon snake was stunned, but Morong Xiong was angry and shouted, "Are you bastards so afraid of death?" Dongfang Wuhan frowned and said, "Stop shouting. Let's go." "What?" Morong Xiong looked at Dongfang Wuhan in shock. He seriously wondered if he had heard wrongly. Dongfang Wuhan said in a deep voice, "According to Qin Feiyang's character, he usually won't have such a big reaction. I think he must have found something." Morong Xiong heard, and immediately looked around in surprise. "Stop looking. Hurry up." Dongfang Wuhan impatiently shouted coldly. Then he used his extreme speed, and chased after them without even looking back. Damn it! Morong Xiong was left alone. He didn't dare to stay any longer. He cursed and quickly retreated. Seeing that they had all run away, the black dragon snake's eyes flickered. It also turned and ran away. During the whole process, the crocodile emperor didn't stop them. It just looked at them coldly. Fatso went all out, and was the first to catch up with Qin Feiyang. He asked, "Boss, what's going on?" Qin Feiyang said, "Let's talk about it later." After galloping for 500 or 600 meters, Qin Feiyang finally stopped. He turned around and looked at the short mountain in the distance. But because of the blood fog blocking the view, the short mountain was very blurry. He could only see a rough outline. Not long after, Dong Jungyang and the others also rushed over one after another. Before Dongfang Wuhan could catch his breath, he asked, "Junior brother Qin, what did you find?" Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, "There's another crocodile emperor lurking there." "What?" Their faces turned pale with fright. But Morong Xiong suddenly frowned and said, "That's not right. If there is, why didn't it come out just now?" "I don't know. But I can conclude that there's another crocodile emperor. And it's in the short mountain I was standing on just now." Qin Feiyang said. "Short mountain?" They were stunned and turned to look at the short mountain. Immediately their pupils shrank. When they were fighting with the crocodile emperor, they didn't have time to be distracted, so they didn't pay attention to the short mountain. But now the short mountain didn't collapse. Was this a joke? After a moment of silence, Morong Xiong said, "Actually, I still have some doubts. Could there be something else inside?" Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "Impossible, because I sensed a heartbeat." Roar. Boom. But before Qin Feiyang finished his words, a deafening roar sounded. Followed closely, they vaguely saw that the short mountain exploded and a huge monster jumped out. At the same time, a terrifying ferocious aura surged out in all directions like a raging wave. This ferocious might. When the ferocious might rushed over, Qin Feiyang and the others couldn't help but feel their scalps go numb. Because this ferocious might surpassed the crocodile emperor from before. Dong Jungyang said in a deep voice, "If my analysis is not wrong, it should be a 3-Star War sect." Boom. Hearing this, Morong Xiong's body and mind trembled as cold sweat broke out all over his body. Fortunately, they were discovered by Qin Feiyang in advance. Otherwise, they might have been completely annihilated. Morong Xiong couldn't help but look at Qin Feiyang gratefully. Boom. At this time, the earth shook violently. At the same time, Qin Feiyang and the others saw that the huge monster was moving quickly towards them. It should be taking revenge for that female crocodile, Qin Feiyang said. Moreover, the huge monster's movement speed was extremely fast. In a few blinks of an eye, it had closed the distance of 100 meters and entered their line of sight. It was indeed a dragon crocodile. Its body was more than 50 meters long, and its scales looked as if they were cast from divine iron. It emitted an astonishing ferocious aura. Wherever it went, the mountains and rivers would shatter, and the ancient trees would be ruthlessly trampled. Its ferocious might was unstoppable. At this moment, Dong Junyang and the others panicked. Qin Feiyang swept his gaze across the few of them, and said, "Don't panic, although it has the strength of a 3-star war sect. It doesn't have any supporting techniques, so it can't catch up to us." "That's right. We're faster than it. What's there to be afraid of?" His words woke them up from their dreams. Dong Junyang and the others immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Qin Feiyang continued, "But we can't be careless. If it catches up, even if we work together to kill it, we will still suffer heavy casualties." The few of them nodded. This was indeed the truth, because there was still a female crocodile. Once that female crocodile recovered, it would definitely come to kill them. And don't forget, there was still a black dragon snake that was difficult to deal with. Qin Feiyang said, "Fatso, take me away." "Where are we going?" Fatso asked. Qin Feiyang said, "Straight ahead." Fatso immediately waved his hand, rolled up Qin Feiyang, turned around and rushed forward. Dong Junyang and the others quickly followed. The fierce crocodile roared, "You damned humans, how dare you hurt this emperor's wife? Today, even if I have to go to heaven or hell, this emperor will kill all of you." Fatso chuckled. "If you have the ability, then catch up. You still dare to be so arrogant? Just you wait. This emperor will be the first to swallow you alive." The fierce crocodile roared again and again as it chased after them. "TSK." Fatso raised his middle finger in disdain, and then sent a sound transmission to Qin Feiyang. "Boss, this dragon crocodile has a dragon's head, and its name also has the word dragon. Can it also transform into a real dragon in the future?" Qin Feiyang's face twitched, and said speechlessly, "Do you think dragons are radishes and cabbages that can be found everywhere?" Fatso laughed embarrassedly. Next, he then said regretfully, "It's a pity about that black dragon snake. If I could give Fat Lord a little more time, I would definitely be able to tame it. If you had used your full strength earlier, you would have definitely tamed it by now. It's all your fault for showing off." Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. Fatso laughed dryly. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang frowned and asked suspiciously, "Why are you so slow?" "This is still slow." Fatso was stunned. "After transforming, your cultivation and defense have increased to the level of a 5-star war master. But your current speed seems to only be comparable to a 4-star war master?" Qin Feiyang said. "So that's what you're talking about." Fatso suddenly realized and then sighed. Dragon transformation art can only increase fighting strength and defense. It can't increase speed. So it's like that. But it's not bad, don't be unsatisfied. "Oh right, what is Lu Hong's battle art?" Qin Feiyang asked in a low voice. Fatso sent a sound transmission. "I don't know either, it should be very awesome." Qin Feiyang shook his head and laughed. "It's impossible for a perfect battle art not to be awesome." Time quietly passed. Roar! The fierce crocodile that was unable to catch up to Qin Feiyang and the others roared in anger. About 500 to 600 breaths passed. The group crossed a mountain ridge and finally arrived at the end of the island. In front of them was still an endless swamp. However, when they arrived here, there was not the slightest bit of joy on their faces. Everyone's hearts sank to the bottom. This was because the 13 crocodile kings had already brought countless crocodile groups to the front. Wherever they went, the footholds were constantly destroyed and swallowed up by the swamp. At this moment, there were only 3 footholds left closest to them. "Quick!" Morong Xiong shouted. He immediately turned around and entered the forest, looking for a big tree to build a bridge. "Stop looking, it's too late." Qin Feiyang shook his head. As soon as he finished speaking, under the lead of the 13 crocodile kings, the group of crocodiles swarmed forward, and the 3 closest footholds were all turned into nothingness. Chapter 6:14. The road ahead was cut off. There were crocodiles blocking the way, and there was a crocodile emperor chasing after them. At this moment, the situation of Qin Feiyang and the others could be said to be hopeless. Morong Xiong roared, "Qin Feiyang, aren't you usually very smart? Quickly think of what to do." Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, "Right now, we only have one path, and that is to fight to the death with the crocodile emperor." Everyone fell silent. This was indeed the only way, but the crocodile emperor was a 3-star war sect. If they were not careful, they would lose their lives. Moreover, they were not in a good state right now. If they really fought, they would be the ones to suffer. Boom! At this moment, there was a deafening explosion behind them. The crocodile emperor actually smashed a hole in the mountain ridge and appeared in their line of sight. Continue to run. This emperor wants to see where you can run to. Seeing Qin Feiyang and the others, the crocodile emperor suddenly sneered, its eyes flashing fiercely. Qin Feiyang shouted, "Fatso, you go and deal with it. The others heal first." Morong Xiong and Dongfang Wuhan breathed a sigh of relief. They were afraid that Qin Feiyang had ulterior motives, and let the 2 of them take the lead. "Me." Fatso pointed at his nose, and looked at Qin Feiyang in disbelief. He felt wronged and said, "Boss, you let Fat Lord deal with it. Aren't you letting Fat Lord die? Junior brother Fatty, stop pretending. With your strength, even if you can't kill it, it's more than enough to restrain it." Dongfang Wuhan laughed. "Stop flattering me. Although Fat Lord admits that he is a little stronger than you, Fat Lord still has self-awareness. In any case, if you let Fat Lord go alone, Fat Lord will not go even if you beat him to death. At worst, we will all die together." Fatso shook his head and said decisively. Dong Junyang said, "You mean as long as there is someone to help you, you are willing to go?" "That's right." Fatso nodded. The crocodile emperor sneered, "Cut the crap. All of you attack together." "Shut up, who allowed you to speak?" Fatso scowled and his attitude was very arrogant. "Fatso, I will kill you first." The vicious crocodile was furious. Its huge tail swept out, and the area was suddenly filled with violent winds. Sand and stones flew everywhere. "Damn, can't you say something before you attack?" Fatso's expression changed as he used the primordial convergence step, and slipped away without looking back. Qin Feiyang and the others hurriedly dodged. The crocodile emperor became even angrier as its giant tail swept through the air. Fatso was obviously toying with it. Its enormous body trembled, and a terrifying aura enveloped the group of people like it was about to topple mountains and overturn the seas. Immediately, the few of them felt as if they had fallen into an icy valley, their bodies and minds turning cold. "Boss, let's go to the castle." Fatso's pupils contracted as he roared in horror. Dongfang Wuhan frowned. "Junior brother Fatty, this is a good opportunity to prove your ability. How can you retreat?" Fatso said angrily, "Prove your sister. If you have the ability, then go. If you really go, Fat Lord will also rush up immediately." Dongfang Wuhan raised his eyebrows and sighed. "If I wasn't injured, I would definitely be the first to go. I wouldn't be begging you now." "So awesome?" Fatso was stunned, and said with a sneaky smile, "Boss, give him a top-grade healing pill. Fat Lord would like to see if he has the guts." Dongfang Wuhan's face suddenly changed, turning ashen. Qin Feiyang's forehead immediately had a row of black lines. This damn Fatso was really unreliable. But suddenly, his eyes became strange. Why did it seem like Fatso was deliberately targeting Dongfang Wuhan? "What time is it now? You still have the mood to quarrel?" At this time, Dong Junyang shouted impatiently. He looked at Fatso and said, "If someone is accompanying you, then I will accompany you." Fatso pursed his lips and said, "I'm not interested." If it were Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong accompanying Fat Lord would consider it. Hearing this, Dong Junyang, Shen Long, and Jiang Wei's eyes also became very strange. But Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong were mad with anger, cursing Fatso's 18 generations of ancestors in their hearts. Qin Feiyang was helpless. It turned out that Fatso's goal was really these 2 people. He turned to look at Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong, and said with a smile, "Since Fatso likes you so much, then please go with him to fight the Crocodile Emperor. Who wants him to like us?" Hearing this, the two almost vomited blood in anger. Fatso glanced at the two disdainfully and said, "If you don't have the guts, just say it. Fat Lord won't force you." Dongfang Wuhan raised his eyebrows and said, "Okay, I'll accompany you." His words were a bit cold. Morong Xiong was shocked and said, "Are you crazy? He's already put it this way. If we still cower, what dignity do we have left?" Dongfang Wuhan snorted. Morong Xiong clenched his hands and glanced coldly at Fatso. He turned to stare at the Crocodile Emperor and shouted, "Beast, come on! An ant-like character dares to clamor at me?" The Crocodile Emperor disdainfully raised its giant tail and quickly attacked Morong Xiong. "Help!" Dongfang Wuhan shouted coldly at Fatso and quickly rushed up. "Hee hee." Fatty let out a sinister laugh and slowly walked over. Seeing this, Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong were so angry that their noses were crooked. They roared at the same time. "Can you hurry up?" Fatso laughed and said, "What's the hurry? Aren't you coming?" But it was still the same. He walked slowly and was not in a hurry at all. The giant tail came crashing down. It was too late for Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong to withdraw. They could only resist. Bull strike. Sun-breaking arrow. The two quickly performed their battle arts, and with a boom, they hit the giant tail. However, the result was that the two battle arts did not cause any damage to the giant tail and disintegrated. The giant tail did not stop at all and attacked the two. Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong's faces suddenly showed despair and resentment. But at this time, Fatso, who was walking slowly, suddenly accelerated and stood in front of the two. At this time, he was still in his transformed state. His dragon claws burst out, and his battle chi surged as he punched the giant tail. Boom! The strength of the giant tail was very strong. It was like a towering mountain pressing down. Fatso's legs sank deep into the soil, and his face flushed red. But at the same time, the gigantic tail was also sent flying by the fatty's punch, and a cracking sound could be heard. At the place where the tail was struck, a crack had appeared on the scales. However, although Fatso arrived in time, and the giant tail did not directly hit Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong, the two were still not spared. They were blown away by the shockwaves created by the confrontation between Fatso and the Crocodile Emperor. They rolled on the ground in a sorry state, and blood kept coming out of their mouths. Their injuries were even worse. The two hated Fatso to the extreme. Moreover, he felt a great sense of humiliation. The two of them joined forces and did not cause any damage. But Fatso alone broke the crocodile's defense. It was like a slap to their faces. Fatso joked, "If it wasn't for Fat Lord's timely intervention, you would have been bleeding. Shouldn't you thank me, your savior?" The two gritted their teeth and smoke came out of their heads. If it wasn't for Fatso's mischief, would they have come to fight with the Crocodile Emperor? If they didn't fight with the Crocodile Emperor, would they have been saved by Fatso? Now they actually came to play the good guy. What a bastard, shameless, despicable. Not far away, Dong Junyang and the other two's faces were twitching nonstop. Dong Junyang suddenly turned to Qin Feiyang and asked, "How can you stand him?" Qin Feiyang said helplessly, "Get used to it." Shen Long smiled bitterly. "I think it's best to just ignore it." "Makes sense." Jiang Wei nodded. If they were to take this Fatso seriously, they would definitely be angered to death. Roar! Suddenly, an angry beast roar resounded, and the surrounding mountains and rivers shook at this moment. Qin Feiyang looked over and saw the Crocodile Emperor roaring again and again. Its four limbs were constantly bombarding the ground, and its entire body was emitting an extremely terrifying aura. Obviously, Fatso's previous punch had made it completely irritable. Qin Feiyang shouted, "Fatso, stop messing around and be serious." Fat Lord has always been serious. Fatso turned to Qin Feiyang and grinned. He looked at Dongfang Wuhan and Dong Junyang and said, "You two go first, I'll bring up the rear." Get lost. The two immediately cursed and rushed toward Qin Feiyang and the others without hesitation. Running away just like that? Fatso was a little stunned and roared, "Fuck, are you kidding me? So useless?" Although Dongfang Wuhan and Dong Junyang were angry, they didn't retort and endured it. because they couldn't let their emotions affect their decisions. Otherwise, they would fall into Fatso's trap. King of the Inner Palace, you're really fucking useless. Fatso sneered and turned to look at the Crocodile Emperor. He sneered. Come on, little reptile, Fat Lord will be intimate with you. You're courting death. The Crocodile Emperor was burning with anger. It moved its huge body and stepped on Fatso. Humph. Fatso snorted and used return to one step, and quickly dodged to the side. Boom. When the Crocodile Emperor's huge foot landed, the ground shook violently and a deep pit appeared. Looking at the deep pit, Fatso's pupils constricted. If he had been stepped on before, he would have been turned into meat paste. Ha! Suddenly, he roared and punched the Crocodile Emperor's stomach with all his might. Ow! The Crocodile Emperor howled, and its huge body was blasted into the air. One had to know. There was a gravitational force in the air. Under the pressure of that gravitational force, the Crocodile Emperor fell rapidly and smashed into the ground. The ground cracked on the spot and dust billowed. Fatso, I'll fight you to the death. The Crocodile Emperor got up and roared angrily. It rushed toward Fatso again with red eyes. That depends on whether you have the ability. Fatso smiled disdainfully and went forward without dodging. Boom! Crack! There was a loud explosion in this place. The ground caved in and the mountains collapsed. A terrifying shockwave from the battle spread out in all directions like a tide. Qin Feiyang and the rest could not withstand the impact of the battle wave, and retreated again and again. Dong Jungyang glanced at Qin Feiyang and looked at the battlefield again. He sighed and said, I used to think that Fatso was relying on you as his backer. Until now, I know that he has the ability to do so. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, None of the people around me are mediocre. To be honest, he was also very surprised. Because all along, the impression that Fatso gave others was that he was shameless, wretched, and indecent. Moreover, all these years, Fatso had never seriously fought with others. This was the first time, and his performance had greatly exceeded his expectations. Based on the current situation, if Fatso dared to go all out, it was not impossible to kill the Crocodile Emperor. But suddenly, he looked at the swamp in front of him. 13 crocodile kings floated on the surface of the swamp and stared at them covetously. The situation is not good. Chapter 6:15. Dong Jungyang noticed Qin Feiyang's abnormality and asked, What's wrong? Qin Feiyang said, If the 13 crocodile kings come, can you stop them in your current state? Hearing this, their faces changed. They actually ignored the 13 crocodile kings. Dong Jungyang pondered for a moment and said, We can stop them, but I'm afraid that the female crocodile and the black dragon snake will come. Shen Long said in a deep voice, The black dragon snake has no dragon scales, so it's not a problem. The key is the female crocodile. Wrong. Qin Feiyang said. What's wrong? Shen Long was puzzled. Qin Feiyang said, The black dragon snake's dragon scales can be regenerated in half an hour. With its character, I'm sure it will come to us again. Half an hour. Shen Long was shocked. Half an hour seemed to be a long time, but in this situation, it was very short. After pondering for a while, Qin Feiyang said, Since we can't leave the island for the time being, I'll go and subdue the black dragon snake first, so as not to cause any more trouble. Dong Jungyang and the others nodded. The black dragon snake was indeed a hidden danger that needed to be removed first. Qin Feiyang said again, By the way, investigate another question. What other questions? The others were surprised. Qin Feiyang said, Why was this crocodile king hiding in the hill before? Morong Xiong nodded and said, This question is too strange. We really need to investigate it, but it's too dangerous for you to go alone. Why don't you let me and Dongfang Wuhan go with you? At the same time, a murderous intent appeared in the depths of his eyes. So kind? Qin Feiyang was surprised. He cupped his hands and smiled. Thank you for your concern, senior brother Morong, but we need you more here. Morong Xiong's face stiffened and nodded. Well, be careful. Qin Feiyang smiled and took out a dozen healing pills and bone-replenishing pills, all of which had 4 veins. He gave them to Dong Jungyang and said, If there's any danger, just shout. I'll come as soon as possible. You too. Dong Jungyang said as he took the pill. Qin Feiyang nodded and glanced at Fatso. Then he turned around and walked around the battlefield, turning back. With Fatso in charge, there shouldn't be a problem. Several hundred breaths passed. Qin Feiyang returned to the vicinity of the short mountain. He hid in a ditch and looked towards the short mountain. However, within his line of sight, there was no trace of the female crocodile, nor was there any black dragon snake. Strange. Qin Feiyang frowned. Suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. When the female crocodile was fighting with Dong Jungyang and the others, she was heavily injured. She must have shed a lot of blood on her way out. Furthermore, it was impossible to fly here, so there would definitely be footprints on the ground. As long as he could find the footprints, he would be able to find the whereabouts of the mother crocodile. He stood up and looked around. To his left, he found a huge footprint. There were also traces of blood on the footprints. Whoosh! Immediately, Qin Feiyang used the phantom steps and silently chased along the footprints. He chased for about 500 or 600 meters. He suddenly stopped and looked at the ground in front of him, his brows furrowed. The footprints in front of him were gone. Moreover, the bushes and weeds along the way were broken, forming a huge horizontal ditch. It looked extremely messy. Qin Feiyang bent down and picked up a bush. He found that the broken part was as flat as a mirror, as if it was cut by a knife. This situation was obviously unreasonable, because the dragon crocodile walked on all fours. At most, it could only overwhelm the bushes and weeds. It was impossible to cut them off. What's going on? For a moment, Qin Feiyang was puzzled. Suddenly, a beast's shadow appeared in his mind. Black dragon snake. Thinking of this, he glanced at the horizontal ditch in front of him. The width of the ditch was almost the same as the size of the black dragon snake. It seems that it really is it. Qin Feiyang muttered. These bushes and weeds should have been cut off by the scales of the black dragon snake. He turned his head to look at the jungle on the side. There was also a horizontal ditch in the jungle, which was connected to the ditch in front of him. Obviously, initially, the black dragon snake was lurking in the jungle next to it. When it saw the crocodile emperor coming, it followed it all the way. It was just that he couldn't figure out why the black dragon snake would do this. But this was also good. He was worried about where to find the black dragon snake. Now, as long as he followed this path, he would definitely find it. It also saved me a lot of time. Qin Feiyang whispered softly and galloped down the ditch. A moment later, a valley came into his sight. Qin Feiyang climbed up a small hill and could clearly see huge footprints leading straight to the valley. Without a doubt, it must be a female crocodile. At the same time, there was a horizontal ditch leading to the right side of the valley. Obviously, the horizontal ditch was left by the black dragon snake. In other words, it didn't follow the valley, but went to the right side. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. Suddenly, he jumped down the hill and swept along the ditch. Soon, he came to the foot of the mountain on the right side of the valley, and the ditch went straight to the top of the mountain. This guy shouldn't be planning something, right? Qin Feiyang frowned, and also climbed to the top of the mountain. Like an ape, his speed was extremely fast. The mountain peak was more than 100 feet high. 10 breaths. Qin Feiyang climbed to the top of the mountain, and immediately saw the black dragon snake. He saw it lying in the grass in front of him. Its aura was completely restrained. It stuck its head out and focused on the bottom of the valley. Qin Feiyang quietly walked over. 10 meters. 5 meters. Suddenly, the black dragon snake turned its head and looked at Qin Feiyang. There was a hint of surprise in its eyes. At the same time, there was a trace of anger. Qin Feiyang chuckled and said, "I wanted to give you a surprise, but I didn't expect you to find out." "Surprise?" The black dragon snake snorted and said, "Didn't you leave? Why did you come back?" Qin Feiyang laughed. "I haven't subdued you yet. How could I bear to leave?" The black dragon snake disdainfully said, "You should give up on this idea as soon as possible. What kind of existence is this emperor? You are just a little ant, and you think you are worthy of this emperor following you? Is that so?" Qin Feiyang pursed his lips and smiled and said, "Let's not talk about this for now. What are you peeking at?" "Nothing." The black dragon snake shook its head and secretly shouted, "If you don't want to die, then hurry up and scram." Is it really nothing? Qin Feiyang looked at it playfully. I say, human, why do you need a beating? The black dragon snake was extremely angry, and its eyes flashed with a fierce light. It's a pity that you don't dare to beat me up now. Qin Feiyang chuckled as he strode towards the edge. A trace of panic appeared in the black dragon snake's eyes, and it anxiously shouted in the dark. Lower your voice. Don't be discovered. What is it? Qin Feiyang stopped and asked curiously. Could it be that there's some unspeakable secret hidden below? Bastard! This emperor will cripple you sooner or later. The black dragon snake stared at him with an extremely sharp gaze. I'll wait. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, walked quietly to the edge and looked down. At this moment, Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled, filled with disbelief. The female crocodile was lying on the grass in the middle of the valley with its eyes closed, revealing a look of enjoyment. Just above the female crocodile, there was a cluster of palm-sized flames floating. The flames were dark green, and strands of green brilliance fell, covering the female crocodile's body. Under the nourishment of the green brilliance, the injuries on the female crocodile's body were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The black dragon snake looked at Qin Feiyang's expression, and immediately said fiercely, Let me tell you, that thing is this emperor's, don't even think about touching it. Do you know what that is? Qin Feiyang asked without turning his head. I don't know, but this emperor is sure that it is definitely a treasure. I might as well tell you, this emperor has been eyeing this thing for a long time, but I couldn't find the opportunity. The black dragon snake transmitted. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up and said, You guessed right, that is indeed a treasure. Even the shattered sea of qi and sea of consciousness can be repaired. What? The black dragon snake's body trembled, and its long and narrow eyes emitted a bright light. That was desire and greed. That's right. The flame above the female crocodile was the fire of life. According to legend, as long as 9 fires of life were gathered, the fires of life would fuse and transform into a flower of life. The flower of life had endless vitality. It was said that as long as one obtained the flower of life, they would be immortal and indestructible. Qin Feiyang never thought that he would actually encounter a cluster of fire of life here. Qin Feiyang turned to look at the black dragon snake and asked, Are you very familiar with them? The black dragon snake rolled its eyes and said, Nonsense, this emperor has lived with them on this island for hundreds of years. How can I not be familiar with them? Qin Feiyang asked suspiciously. Then why didn't you know that the crocodile emperor was hiding in that hill? That old fox knew that I was eyeing that flame, so he often hid and schemed against me. But who am I? Why would I fall into his trap? The black dragon snake smiled disdainfully. Qin Feiyang laughed. Then why don't you go and snatch it now? Isn't it because of you? If you didn't destroy this emperor's reverse scale, this emperor would have already snatched it, and you wouldn't have a chance to join in the fun. The black dragon snake said angrily. Do you think you are a divine dragon? Reverse scale? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and teased. You became so timid after losing your dragon scale. It seems that you are not that great after all. Fuck. Are you out of your mind? Although it is seriously injured, it is still a 2-star combat ancestor. Moreover, this emperor's injury is not any lighter than it. Look at it yourself. The dragon tail that you destroyed has not even recovered. How can I fight it? If you have the ability, then go ahead. The black dragon snake roared, of course using telepathy. Qin Feiyang glanced at the black dragon snake's tail, and suddenly couldn't help but laugh silently. The black dragon snake flew into a rage out of humiliation and roared. Damn it! Why don't you try laughing again? At worst, this emperor doesn't want that flame, and I will join forces with it to kill you. Okay, I won't laugh. Qin Feiyang quickly waved his hand, trying to hold back his laughter, and said, Listening to what you said, you want to cooperate with me? The black dragon snake was stunned and sneered. You think too much. This emperor will cooperate with you? Are you worthy? Qin Feiyang said, I don't know if I am worthy, but I know that if this drags on, its injury will recover, and by then, we won't have a chance even if we join forces. The black dragon snake's pupil shrank. I know what you are hesitating about. You are just afraid that I will take the opportunity to plot against you. Actually, I am also afraid. So for your sake I am relieved. Why don't we make an agreement? Qin Feiyang laughed. What agreement? The black dragon snake looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said, I will help you get that flame, but as a condition, you have to follow me for 10 years. Impossible. The black dragon snake refused without hesitation. The anger in its heart had reached the point where it could not be controlled. Actually taking advantage of people's difficulties. This damn human is really despicable. Qin Feiyang laughed. If you don't agree, I will do as you said and join forces with the female crocodile to kill you. At that time, maybe I can even become friends with her. You bastard. The black dragon snake was burning with anger. If it weren't for the female crocodile below, it would have already fought. Actually, 10 years is not that long. And I swear in the name of my father, once 10 years are up, I will not stop you if you want to leave. And in these 10 years, you are not a servant, I am not a master, we are friends. In addition, I will give you a lot of things you want, such as the transformation pill, the barrier-breaking pill. Qin Feiyang laughed. Hearing this, the black dragon snake was a little moved, but it couldn't make a decision. In addition, I can also take you out of the 9 nether yellow springs and go to the outside world. Qin Feiyang struck while the iron was hot and continued to tempt. The outside world, the black dragon snake muttered to itself, and there was a kind of nostalgia in its eyes. If one observed carefully, one would find that there was a trace of resentment. Qin Feiyang urged, if you don't decide, the female crocodile's injuries will really be healed. The black dragon snake looked down at the female crocodile. Sure enough, the wounds on the female crocodile's body had already scabbed. It also began to be anxious, looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, Are you sure you are not lying to this emperor? Qin Feiyang nodded. Good. This emperor promises you. Chapter 616. Qin Feiyang smiled. As long as the black dragon snake nodded now, he had a way to make the black dragon snake change its mind and follow him wholeheartedly 10 years later. In fact, it might not even take 10 years. As for the fire of life, when they become friends and best friends, wouldn't it be the same for anyone? Of course. To be honest, if the black dragon snake couldn't transform into a divine dragon, he wouldn't care. The black dragon snake said, Do it. Who? Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and suddenly jumped down from the mountain peak, rushing down. Boom! At the same time, the black dragon snake also dragged its huge body and rushed towards the female crocodile below, its aura surging. Wherever it passed, bushes flew, weeds flew, mud and stones rolled, and even the entire mountain was trembling. Roar! With such a big momentum, the female crocodile naturally noticed them at the first moment. Immediately, it roared, got up, and stared at Qin Feiyang and the black dragon snake. Those huge fierce eyes flashed with an astonishing light. Little crocodile, long time no see. The black dragon snake greeted cordially. This voice also sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Qin Feiyang's expression immediately froze. Little crocodile, long time no see. Was this guy here to be funny? Didn't they just meet not long ago? And calling the female crocodile this way, wasn't it too ambiguous? Those who didn't know would think that this guy had something to do with the female crocodile. Get lost. However, the female crocodile didn't buy it at all. Its eyes were extremely fierce, and if one looked carefully, one would find a trace of disgust. All right, give that flame to this emperor, and this emperor will get lost immediately. The black dragon snake laughed. You still haven't given up. The female crocodile's eyes became more and more terrifying. In the past, with that old fox in charge, this emperor couldn't do anything, but now that it is restrained by those humans, if you don't give it to this emperor, don't be ruthless. The black dragon snake sneered. Just a moment ago, he still had an incomparably amiable look on his face, but now, he turned hostile just like that. The thoughts of these beasts were indeed difficult to guess. Just you? The female crocodile was full of disdain. The black dragon snake said, Although I don't have my reverse scale, I've found a helper this time. Helper? The female crocodile was slightly stunned. She looked at Qin Feiyang, who was beside the black dragon snake, and said suspiciously, You guys are in cahoots. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "Not before, but now." The female crocodile suddenly became ferocious and roared, "How dare you, a mere 9-star combat emperor? Come and join in the fun. If you want to die, I will grant your wish." Boom. After saying this, a terrifying ferocious aura emanated from its body. It raised its giant tail and swung it directly at Qin Feiyong. The battle began. However, the black dragon snake had no intention of helping. It only looked at Qin Feiyong with interest. "Are you observing my strength? Even if I don't use Chang Shui, I'll still give you a big scare." Qin Feiyong secretly snorted and looked up at the female crocodile, his eyes becoming fierce. Boom! The moment the giant tail fell, he raised his arm and slapped it with his palm. A golden light burst out and collided with the giant tail. Elo! The female crocodile's huge body was sent flying on the spot. The skin on its giant tail was lacerated, and its flesh was badly mutilated. Moreover, the wounds on its body that had already formed scabs once again burst open and blood spurted out like a pillar. At the same time, Qin Feiyong also retreated a few steps. His face was a little pale, but that was all. Thinking back to when he was in Yan City, he used the cultivation of a 9-star martial master to beat Lin Hua, who was a 2-star martial lord, without any power to fight back. And the current situation was exactly the same as back then. The female crocodile's cultivation was a 2-star war master, and Qin Feiyong was a 9-star combat emperor. The only difference was that the female crocodile's defense was astonishing. Unfortunately, its injuries had not healed, and it was unable to unleash its full strength. When Qin Feiyong fought with the black dragon snake, although he was seriously injured, he had already recovered with the help of the fire of life. So with his current state and methods, suppressing the female crocodile was no problem at all. This scene caused the black dragon snake to be dumbfounded. It originally thought that Qin Feiyong's strength was all because of that dagger. Without the dagger he was nothing. But it didn't expect that this person's methods were also so heaven-defying. It was only at this moment that it realized that without the dragon scales, it was no match for this human. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feiyong sent the female crocodile flying and took a step forward. His large hand was like an eagle's claw as it reached for the fire of life. When the female crocodile crashed to the ground and got up from the ground, Qin Feiyong had already grabbed the fire of life. "You dare!" The female crocodile immediately roared and crazily rushed towards Qin Feiyong. "Do you think this emperor doesn't exist?" The black dragon snake's gaze turned cold as battle chi gushed out, transforming into a monstrous wave as it ferociously pounced towards the female crocodile. It was also worried. This human was obviously not a good person. If it didn't make a move now, once it angered this person, and didn't give it the fire of life, it could only find a place to cry silently. Boom! The female crocodile was sent flying again, the injuries on its body becoming more and more serious. But it was almost crazy as it immediately got up and roared, "You damn bastards, I'm going to tear you into pieces." Behind it, a black light suddenly emerged. In the black light, there was a palm-sized object that looked like a piece of iron, and also like a scale armor. It emitted a bloody, dark, and eerie aura. The black dragon snake was shocked. "Not good, this is its war soul. It's very scary." Qin Feiyong was surprised. Even the black dragon snake was so afraid. Could it be that the war soul had some terrifying innate ability? Without any hesitation, he quickly retreated. But the black dragon snake didn't retreat, because the female crocodile would never let it go after snatching away the fire of life. Only by killing it could it eliminate future troubles forever. Roar! It also decisively activated its war soul. Accompanied by a deafening dragon roar, a black dragon soared into the sky. Next, the two war souls rushed towards each other at the same time. Their aura was overwhelming and shook the mountains and rivers. Boom! In an instant, the two war souls collided and immediately gave birth to a destructive airwave that rolled in all directions. Wherever it passed, the mountains collapsed, the earth cracked, and dust covered the sky. At the same time, heaven and earth were filled with a tragic aura. Qin Feiyong also retreated again and again, his pupils constricting. These legendary ferocious beasts were indeed incomparably ferocious. The reason why it was a legend was because whether it was the black dragon snake or the dragon crocodile, they were all creatures from 10,000 years ago. Of course, it was not that they did not exist in this era, but they were extremely rare. Roar! Roar! Without waiting for the dust to dissipate, two roars sounded at the same time. Boom! Then, there was a deafening collision sound in the dust. An even stronger wave of battle rippled out in all directions like a torrent, crushing everything in its path. Next, this place fell silent. What's the result? Qin Feiyang had a trace of worry. With a wave of his hand, the wind whistled and rolled up the dust in the sky. His face suddenly changed, because at this moment, the black dragon snake and the female crocodile were lying on the broken ground. Both were covered in wounds and bleeding nonstop. Qin Feiyang quickly ran over and checked the black dragon snake's situation. Fortunately, it was only seriously injured, and its life was not in danger for the time being. But if it was not treated in time, it would be hard to say. He took out a few healing pills with 4 pill veins and put them into the black dragon snake's mouth. Then he got up and walked to the side of the female crocodile. When he found that the female crocodile was dead, he could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. Then he returned to the black dragon snake's side and said with a smile, "Amazing, you even killed it." If it wasn't for its injuries being more serious than mine, it would be hard to say who killed who, the black dragon snake said weakly. But when it saw the fire of life in Qin Feiyang's hand, it suddenly became spirited. It turned over, raised its head, and hurriedly said, "Quickly give the flame to me. I won't snatch it from you." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and threw the fire of life to the black dragon snake without hesitation. "You're really giving it to me?" The black dragon snake was stunned. It thought that Qin Feiyang might take the opportunity to threaten it and make it sign some unequal contract, but it did not expect him to be so straightforward. Roar! Suddenly, a furious roar rang out from the other side of the island. There was even a hint of grief in that roar. Not good. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. He looked up at the other side of the island, his eyes full of worry. It must be the crocodile emperor. It sensed the death of the female crocodile, and was probably going crazy now. No, I have to hurry over and help. Muttering to himself, Qin Feiyang withdrew his gaze and looked at the black dragon snake, who was staring at the fire of life. He said in a deep voice, "Don't look, follow me to support them." "It's useless." The black dragon snake shook its head. "What do you mean?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "Fatso beside you is indeed strong, but that old fox is stronger than him. Did you see the female crocodile's battle soul? That old fox's battle soul is exactly the same as hers. And the power of this battle soul is almost comparable to my reverse scale. By the time you rush over, Fatso and the others will be dead. So think of a way to escape." The black dragon snake sneered. "Comparable to my reverse scale." Qin Feiyang's body and mind trembled, and the worry in his eyes grew stronger. At this time, Fatso's anxious cry for help came from afar. "Boss, Fat Lord can't hold on any longer. Come and save me." "Did you hear that? You're simply courting death if you run over now," the black dragon snake said. "Although I, Qin Feiyang, am not a good person, I will never abandon my companions and escape alone. Don't talk nonsense, quickly follow me." After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he used phantom steps and sped towards the other side of the island. At the same time, he used all his strength and roared, "Fatso, quickly retreat towards me." The black dragon snake looked at Qin Feiyang's resolute back and couldn't help but be a little lost in thought. Its eyes were also rather complicated, but then, a trace of ridicule appeared in its eyes as it shook its head and muttered, "If you want to live longer, you have to learn to be selfish. If you don't even have this awareness, what a foolish human. Your name is Qin Feiyang, right? Since you helped me snatch the flame, I will let bygones be bygones, but don't let me meet you again in the future." The black dragon snake sneered and turned to leave quickly. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and turned his head to look at the black dragon snake's actions. His face suddenly turned cold as he said gloomily, "I thought that my sincerity could be exchanged for your sincerity, but it seems that I'm still too naive." Sincerity? What a ridiculous word. Let me tell you, Ever since that incident happened, I will never believe you humans again. Humans are all hypocritical villains. They all deserve to die. The black dragon snake sneered, its eyes filled with deep resentment. Then, without looking back, it disappeared from Qin Feiyang's sight. That incident. Qin Feiyang was originally very angry, but after hearing these words, he couldn't help but frown. What did that mean? Chapter 617. But whether or not there was a hidden reason the grudge was formed, there's still a long time. Let's wait and see. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. He turned around and continued to rush to the other side of the island. Boom! Crack! The loud sound of the battle came from afar, making him wish he could grow a bunch of wings. Time passed in the blink of an eye. After more than 200 breaths, Qin Feiyang could already feel the strong fluctuations of the battle. He climbed to the top of a mountain more than 100 feet high and stood on the edge, overlooking the front. He immediately saw Dong Xingyang and the others frantically fleeing this way. Everyone's face was full of panic, and their bodies were full of scars. Shen Long and Jiang Wei both lost their hands. Dong Xingyang lost a leg. Morong Xiong and Dongfang Wuhan each lost an arm. They were disheveled and extremely embarrassed. Behind them, Fatso and Crocodile Emperor were fighting fiercely. Fatso's injuries were more serious than Morong Xiong and the others. Not only did he lose his left hand, but even the skin on his body was cracked. And on his right shoulder, there was a bloody hole the size of a baby's fist. It penetrated from the front to the back, and was bleeding non-stop. At this moment his body was bleeding, and his hair was bleeding. He was covered in blood from head to toe. He looked like a bloody man. Crocodile Emperor's injuries were also very serious. The scales all over its body were broken. The giant tail was also gone, and one of its eyes was blown out. The eye socket was badly mutilated and blood was splattering everywhere. It could be said that this was a situation where both sides suffered. But it was full of hostility, as if it didn't know pain. It was even more manic than before. Fatso was being suppressed at this moment. I'm here! Qin Feiyang shouted coldly with a gloomy face. He jumped down from the top of the mountain and rushed toward the crowd. Seeing Qin Feiyang's arrival, Fatso and the others were also ecstatic. In less than 10 breaths, Qin Feiyang met up with Dong Xingyang and the others. Dong Xingyang was about to say something. Qin Feiyang reached out to stop him and said, "Don't say anything. Go to the castle to heal first." After saying that, he waved his hand and sent them into the castle. Then, Qin Feiyang rushed to support Fatso. Crocodile Emperor roared, "Damn human, did you kill my wife?" "I didn't kill him. It was the black dragon snake. If you want to find someone, you should find it." Fatso, retreat. Qin Feiyang snorted through his nose and decisively activated the battle character formula. Soon after, he slammed his palm into the air. Seeing this, Fatso threw Crocodile Emperor's fist and dodged to the side. At the same time, Crocodile Emperor Crocodile really died. Hearing this bad news, the Crocodile Emperor's gaze froze. Then, it raised its head to the sky and roared angrily, "No matter who killed them, all of you must die." Accompanied by an earth-shattering explosion, a black light rushed out from the Crocodile Emperor's back. Qin Feiyang's pupils suddenly contracted. The black dragon snake was not lying. The Crocodile Emperor's fighting soul was exactly the same as the female crocodile's fighting soul. When Fatso saw the Crocodile Emperor activating its fighting soul, his expression changed. He quickly shouted, "Boss, don't go head-on with its fighting soul." His injuries were caused by this fighting soul. Boom! The Crocodile Emperor's fighting soul was invincible. It crushed the golden light and charged towards Qin Feiyang. Before he even got close, Qin Feiyang already felt the threat of death. Even with the protection of the battle character art, he didn't dare to fight head-on. Whoosh! In a moment of desperation, he didn't have time to take out the Chang Shui, nor did he have a good opportunity to counterattack. He hurriedly used the phantom steps and dashed to the side. Boom! The war spirit arrived in the blink of an eye and slammed into the ground. Dust and smoke billowed and the earth shattered. An earth-shattering shockwave surged in all directions. Although Qin Feiyang escaped in time, he was still swept by the shockwave. He spat out blood on the spot, and his internal organs were ruptured. Like a meteorite, he crashed into a mountain in the distance. "Boss!" Fatso cried out in grief. He turned into a ray of light and chased after Qin Feiyang at lightning speed. If Qin Feiyang were to crash into that mountain, he would be severely injured even if he didn't die. In the end, before Qin Feiyang crashed into the mountain, Fatso chased after him and used his body as a shield in front of Qin Feiyang. Boom! Qin Feiyang immediately crashed into Fatso's chest. However, although Qin Feiyang was saved, Fatso was injured even more. He was already seriously injured. After Qin Feiyang hit him so hard, the bones in his chest were all broken, and under Qin Feiyang's impact, his back hit a protruding rock behind him, and his spine was broken on the spot. The heart-wrenching pain made him wish he was dead. He screamed again and again. Even his consciousness was dissipating. Qin Feiyang fell to the ground. Hearing Fatso's screams, he immediately looked up and his expression changed. He endured the pain and quickly ran to Fatso. He grabbed Fatso's right arm and asked with concern, "How are you?" Fatso shook his head hard and said, "I'm afraid I'm going to die." Qin Feiyang's nose twitched and he said angrily, "Don't say such unlucky words." Although Fatso was usually unreliable, when he was serious, he would not lose to anyone. The most important thing was that this person was loyal. Take the situation just now for example. If it were someone else today, they would definitely not use their body as a meat cushion to save him. It's true. Fat Lord is not joking this time. Fat Lord's heart is broken. But then again, why didn't I realize your head was so hard before? Fatso spat out blood as he spoke. There was even a smile on his blood-stained face. What? My heart is broken. Qin Feiyang was like a bolt from the blue. His mind was buzzing. Don't blame yourself. Actually, your head is not that hard. My heart was broken because I was hit by the crocodile emperor's tail. But it was only broken at that time. But when you hit it, it was broken into pieces. Boss, Fat Lord went back on his words. He can't accompany you to the capital to avenge you. Don't blame Fat Lord. In the end, Fatso had no energy to continue. He was stuttering. There was a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. It was nostalgia for this world. For Qin Feiyang, for Lu Hong, for Wolf King. He didn't want to die. But when he finished his last word, he closed his eyes and fell into Qin Feiyang's arms. Fatso! Qin Feiyang screamed hysterically. Tears flowed out of his eyes. Now you know how to be sad. But this is just the beginning. I'm going to kill all of you and bury you with my wife. The crocodile emperor was furious. It activated its fighting soul again and charged towards Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang suddenly turned his head and looked at the crocodile emperor. His blood-red eyes were ruthless. He said coldly, "Just you wait." After saying that, he carried Fatso and went straight to the castle. Qin Feiyang, how is Fatso? As soon as they saw Qin Feiyang carrying Fatso, Lu Hong, the pangolin, Yi and Luo Qinxue rushed forward. Their eyes were full of concern. Dead, Qin Feiyang murmured. What? The three people and one beast were trembling. Their faces were pale. At the same time, Wolf King, who was trying to break through to two-star battle master, also trembled violently. However, he didn't open his eyes and continued to break through. But 2 drops of tears flowed from the corner of his eyes. Run Wushuang and the others also stood up and looked at Fatso silently. Their faces were full of sorrow. How is this possible? Good people don't live long, but scourges live for thousands of years. How can Fatso be a scourge? Lu Hong murmured to herself. She couldn't accept this fact. It's all my fault. I underestimated the crocodile emperor's strength. Qin Feiyang's heart was filled with self-blame and hatred. I still don't believe it. Lu Hong shook her head. She walked forward and grabbed Fatso's wrist. She felt Fatso's pulse. There was a trace of hope in her eyes. In this small team, Fatso and Lu Hong were the closest. The person Lu Hong was most grateful to was Fatso, because at that time, it was under Fatso's instigation that she joined Qin Feiyang's camp and had today's achievements. Because of this, she found her value and dignity. Otherwise, she might still be in Black Bear City, using her beauty to please those powerful men in order to find a place to settle down. But gradually, The hope in her eyes disappeared. It was replaced by depression and sadness. She didn't feel any pulse on Fatso's wrist. He's really dead. She had to accept it, although it was cruel. But suddenly, her arm trembled. Her beautiful eyes suddenly burst out with a bright light. No, there was a pulse. It was just very weak. It was difficult to feel. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang looked at her in surprise. Lu Hong was silent. She carefully sensed again. Suddenly, she felt Fatso's pulse beating. It was very weak. She hurriedly said, Fatso still has a pulse. Quickly give him a heart protection pill. Maybe he will remember. Qin Feiyang's body and mind shook. He hurriedly laid Fatso flat on the ground. Then, he looked at Wu Yan and the others in front of him and shouted, Get lost! Wu Yan and the others did not dare to hesitate, and quickly retreated to the side. Qin Feiyang stepped in front of the altar. He opened the iron box and directly took out the fire of life. He quickly turned around and stepped beside Fatso. He placed the fire of life on Fatso's heart. The majestic life energy suddenly rushed into Fatso's body. Because he had not refined the heart protection pill yet. And refining it required time. But at this moment, it was a race against time. Naturally, it was impossible to refine it. Moreover, the healing effect of the fire of life was far beyond that of the heart protection pill. Therefore, he directly used the fire of life. Although by doing so, the fire of life would be exposed in front of Dongfang Wuhan and the others, he could not care so much now. What is it? Sure enough, as soon as they saw the fire of life, Dongfang Wuhan and the others were surprised. But there was one person who looked at the fire of life with a strange look in his eyes. This person was Lu Xingchen. However, Qin Feiyang did not notice Lu Xingchen's strange look. Because at this moment, his eyes were only focused on Fatso's safety. Ren Wushuang walked to Qin Feiyang's side and whispered, Can this flame really save him? One must know. If the heart was broken, even the heart protection pill might not be able to repair it. Because the effect of the heart protection pill was limited. For example, if there was a crack in the heart, it could be repaired very easily. But if it was completely broken, it would depend on the person's luck. But now, Qin Feiyang did not take out the heart protection pill. Instead, he took out a flame that had never been seen before. It was really confusing. I don't know. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Chapter 618. Seeing Qin Feiyang shake his head, Ren Wushuang asked, Don't you have any heart-protecting fruit? She thought that Qin Feiyang couldn't refine the heart-protecting pill, because he didn't have any heart-protecting fruit. So he took a step back and used this flame. In fact, she didn't know that the effect of the fire of life was many times stronger than the heart-protecting pill. But Qin Feiyang didn't answer. He was really not in the mood to discuss these meaningless topics with Ren Wushuang. His mind sank into Fatso's body, paying close attention to the situation of Fatso's heart. But Ren Wushuang thought that Qin Feiyang acquiesced. She looked at the crowd around and said, Whoever has a heart-protecting fruit, please take the initiative to take it out and save Fatso's life. Everyone shook their heads. Dong Jungyang sighed. Fatso fought with the crocodile emperor to help us escape. If there was a heart-protecting fruit, I would have taken it out in the first place. Yes, with Fatso's strength and speed, it's easy for him to escape. He did it to save us. But the heart-protecting fruit is too rare. Not to mention us. I'm afraid even the treasure pavilion may not have it. Shenlong said. I don't have it either. Dongfang Wuhan shook his head. Ren Wushuang's heart sank to the bottom in an instant. At this time, Lu Hong said angrily, Can you be quiet? Everyone suddenly fell silent. Time passed breath by breath. Qin Feiyang had been observing Fatso's heart. The energy of the fire of life was also constantly pouring into the heart, but it didn't get better. It was still torn apart. At first, Qin Feiyang still had a glimmer of hope. Maybe because there wasn't enough time. After all, the heart was broken like this, and it would take a long time to recover. But after 500 or 600 breaths, seeing that the heart still didn't get better, he couldn't help but be worried. Even the fire of life was useless? Lu Hong clenched her hands, looked up at Qin Feiyang, and said, Try the heart-protecting pill again. Qin Feiyang nodded. As long as Fatso was still breathing, he would not give up. He turned around and walked towards the altar. The crowd in front of him consciously retreated to the side. Walking to the front of the altar, Qin Feiyang opened the iron box again and took out the pill scripture to carefully read the refining method of the heart protection pill. Everyone was curious. They craned their necks, wanting to know what Qin Feiyang was looking at. All of you turn around. But before they could see clearly, Qin Feiyang shouted without turning his head. Immediately, everyone's pupils shrank as they quickly averted their gazes and looked elsewhere. However, the curiosity in their eyes grew even stronger. People were like that. The more they couldn't see something, the more they wanted to see it. The more they couldn't get something, the more they wanted to get it. 10 breaths. Qin Feiyang had memorized the refining method of the heart protection pill by heart. Next, he closed the pill scripture and put it into the Qingquan bag inside the iron box. He then took out the pill furnace, the netherworld devil flame, and the medicinal ingredients, placing them one by one on the altar. Seeing that bright red heart protection fruit, everyone suddenly felt extremely incredulous. Heart protection fruit? What kind of joke was this? He also had such a rare treasure. This stinking brat. Ren Wuxuang also had a helpless look on her face. After all this time, it turned out that she was just worrying for nothing. But then, they thought of a problem. Since Qin Feiyang had the heart protection fruit, why didn't he take it out to refine the heart protection pill? Could it be that the ability of the flame was better than the heart protection pill? Buzz. After calming down for a moment, Qin Feiyang finally revived the netherworld devil flame and began to refine the heart protection pill. Back then in the Spirit Cloud Mountain, he only obtained 3 heart protection fruits, and the temperature of refining the heart protection pill was extremely harsh. Moreover, this was also the first time Qin Feiyang was refining the heart protection pill, so he did not dare to be careless. At the same time, Dong Xingyang said to everyone, "If anyone dares to make a sound and disturb Qin Feiyang, don't blame me for being ruthless." The castle immediately fell into a dead silence. Morong Xiong looked at Qin Feiyang's back as a cold light flashed in his eyes. He secretly asked, "Dongfang Wuhan, is there a heart protection pill formula in the inner hall?" Dongfang Wuhan said, "No." As the former #1 alchemist in the inner hall, it could be said that he knew the existing pill formulas in the inner hall like the back of his hand. But he had never seen the heart protection pill formula. He was also very curious. How did Qin Feiyang know the method to refine the heart protection pill? Could it be related to that iron book? Crash! 100 breaths passed. A resplendent light suddenly rushed out from the pill furnace. At the same time, there was a strong medicinal fragrance that pervaded every corner of the castle. Whoosh! Soon, a pill the size of a pellet flew out of the pill furnace. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed as he grabbed it in his palm. Then, he put away the pill and the netherworld devil flame, walked to Fatso's side, and handed the pill to Lu Hong. The pill was completely blood red, as if it had been soaked in blood, without the slightest flaw. On the surface, there were 4 dazzling pill veins surrounding it. A heart protection pill with 4 pill veins. Everyone looked at the heart protection pill with green light in their eyes. If this was taken to an auction, it would definitely be sold for an astonishing number. But no one dared to snatch it. They could only watch as Lu Hong put the heart protection pill into Fatso's mouth. Qin Feiyang also immediately sank his mind into Fatso's body. When the heart protection pill entered Fatso's mouth, it turned into a blood-red energy and directly rushed towards Fatso's heart. This energy was very large, and it surrounded the heart. The heart was also crazily absorbing this energy. However, as time passed, the energy became less and less, but Fatso's heart was still torn apart. How could this be? Qin Feiyang muttered to himself, his body faintly trembling. The fire of life could not be repaired, and the heart protection pill could not be repaired. What exactly was needed to save Fatso's life? Lu Hong quietly wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and said, "Qin Feiyang, we have tried our best. Now it's up to the heavens." "Up to the heavens," Qin Feiyang muttered. Suddenly, his eyes became incomparably simple, and he said, "I, Qin Feiyang, have always believed that fate is in my own hands." As soon as he finished, He grabbed the fire of life and stuffed it into Fatso's mouth without hesitation. Will this work? Lu Hong asked. Her eyes were dim and lifeless. She no longer held any hope. Qin Feiyang said, whether it works or not, how do you know if you don't try? As he spoke, he once again sank his mind into Fatso's body, and a trace of surprise crawled up his face. Seeing the sudden surprise on Qin Feiyang's face, Lu Hong was slightly stunned. Could it be effective? She also quickly sank her mind into Fatso's body. Seeing this, Dong Zhengyang and the others looked at each other, and then also sank their minds into Fatso's body. The fire of life shuttled back and forth in Fatso's body at an extremely fast speed. Wherever it passed, all the injuries, all the hidden injuries, were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than 10 breaths, other than his heart that had been torn to pieces, the rest of his injuries had already been healed. However, the fire of life did not go to the heart. Is it still not working? Qin Feiyang's heart sank again, and his forehead was already covered in sweat. This was caused by nervousness. Sigh. Lu Hong sighed deeply. Even if the other places were repaired, what was the use? The key was the heart. Lu Hong's face revealed a trace of sadness, and she withdrew her mind. But just before she withdrew her mind, the fire of life finally rushed towards Fatso's heart. At this moment, Lu Hong's eyes lit up, and the flame of hope was burning in her heart again. Qin Feiyang was the same. Under their attention, the fire of life swept straight to the position of the heart, and suspended above the heart. Suddenly, a shocking scene happened. They saw that the fire of life was also torn apart, and quickly merged into the fragments of Fatso's heart. Not good. At the same time, Lu Xingqian's exclamation sounded. What's wrong? Everyone looked at him suspiciously, including Qin Feiyang. The fire of life is a rare treasure of heaven and earth. Once this cluster of fire of life dissipates, even if you find the other 8 fires of life in the future, it can no longer transform into the flower of life. In other words, the flower of life will disappear forever. Qin Feiyang, it's not too late to stop it now. Lu Xingqian ignored the others and looked at Qin Feiyang. Fire of life? Flower of life? Everyone was stunned. What was this? Why had they never heard of it? But Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and said, how do you know this? Back then, although Lu Xingqian also went to the canyon of the Land of Ruins, at that time, even the Monkey King, who guarded the fire of life and the holy monkey, did not know that it was the fire of life, and only said that it was a magical flame. Moreover, the fire of life had disappeared for a long time, and it was impossible for ordinary people to know. At that time, even he only remembered it after hearing Ren Duxing's introduction. But how did Lu Xingqian know? Facing Qin Feiyang's question, Lu Xingqian did not panic at all, and said, I have seen the records of the flower of life in an ancient book. Qin Feiyang said, you even have this kind of ancient book. You are really unfathomable. Can you lend it to me for a look? Lu Xingqian said in a deep voice. Now is not the time to talk about this. I think you should be clear about the magical aspects of the flower of life. In order to save Fatso, let the flower of life become peerless. Do you think it's worth it? It's worth it. What's more, the fire of life might not necessarily dissipate. Qin Feiyang said without the slightest hesitation. The fire of life was indeed very important. In terms of value, Fatso was far inferior, but in Qin Feiyang's eyes, not to mention the fire of life, even the flower of life was not as important as Fatso. Sigh. Lu Xingqian let out a long sigh and said, don't hold on to such a wishful thinking. I dare to guarantee with my life that the fire of life will dissipate. But this has allowed Fatso to obtain a great fortune. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang frowned. Lu Xingqian said, the fire of life will fuse with his heart in the future. As long as his heart is not extinguished, it is equivalent to having an immortal body. To be honest, I am quite envious. Immortal body? Qin Feiyang was taken aback, and nodded with a smile. If what you said is true, this is indeed a great fortune. Why are you so stubborn? Lu Xingqian was a little angry. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, checked Fatso's heart again, and was immediately overjoyed. The split heart finally began to heal at this moment. Chapter 619. After his heart was repaired, Fatso's life force gradually stabilized. Now he just had to wait for him to wake up. Congratulations. Lu Xingqian smiled at Qin Feiyang, but it was a forced smile. After saying that, he turned around and walked to the corner, sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, and no one knew what he was thinking. Qin Feiyang looked at him deeply and didn't say anything. He turned his head and continued to pay attention to Fatso. Damn human, come out and die. Outside, the crocodile emperor didn't leave. It kept roaring, and its entire body was overflowing with hostility. Half an hour later, boom! Inside the ancient castle, a powerful aura suddenly erupted, shocking everyone. Everyone looked at Wolf King. Wolf King's small body was emitting a bright light, like a golden sun. Suddenly, it opened its eyes, and two golden beams of light burst out. Its eyes carried a great majesty. Qin Feiyang asked, "You broke through?" Wolf King nodded, got up and said, "Send me out. I want to kill that bastard to avenge Fatso." As he spoke, his entire body emitted a shocking murderous aura. Qin Feiyang said, "I think Fatso wants to take revenge himself." Whoosh! Wolf King raised his eyebrows, turned into a stream of light, and landed on Qin Feiyang's shoulder. He looked down at Fatso, who was lying on the ground, and muttered, "He's not dead even like this. This guy is really lucky." Then, it looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, "Is the fire of life really gone?" "Gone. However, I found another cluster." Qin Feiyang whispered. Wolf King's eyes lit up and said, "Where is it?" Qin Feiyang whispered, "On the black dragon snake." Wolf King was stunned and thought to himself, could it be that the flame snatched from the mother crocodile was the flame of life? Although it had been in seclusion, it had heard the conversation between Qin Feiyang and the black dragon snake outside. It was just that at that time, Qin Feiyang did not explain, so it did not know that it was the fire of life. Qin Feiyang nodded. The corner of Wolf King's mouth twitched. He was speechless. "You're really lucky, but from your conversation with it, that guy doesn't seem to be easy to deal with." "Yeah, a treacherous old fox." Qin Feiyang nodded, looking a little angry. Boom. Before he finished speaking, another powerful aura burst out from his body. Everyone was bewildered. This aura was almost exactly the same as Wolf King's when he broke through. Could it be that someone had broken through again? Everyone hurriedly looked at the source of the aura, their eyes filled with disbelief. Even Qin Feiyang and Wolf King were the same. The aura actually came from Fatso. Fatso had yet to wake up, but his aura was like a rainbow. Not only had he reached the peak of the 1-star War Master, he was even trying to break through to the 2-star War Master. Was this a dream? One had to know. Fatso had just broken through to the 1-star War Master a while ago. It didn't make sense for him to be so fast. Wolf King was stunned for a moment, then looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, "What's going on?" "I don't know either." Qin Feiyang shook his head, his face full of confusion. Lu Xingqian also opened his eyes and sized up Fatso, and said, "I guess it should be because of the fire of life." Qin Feiyang asked in surprise, "You mean the fire of life allowed him to break through?" Lu Xingqian said, "I think so, because there's no other explanation." Qin Feiyang nodded. The fire of life was a legendary divine item. The ancient books only had a rough introduction, and did not record it in detail. Perhaps he really had the ability to do so. Boom. While Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingqian were talking, Fatso's aura had already risen to the 2-star War Master level. Fuck, this doesn't make any sense. I worked hard and cultivated for more than half a year before breaking through to the 2-star War Master level. But he only got injured and broke through after a nap. The heavens are unfair. Wolf King roared angrily. Qin Feiyang laughed. This is what they mean by, if you survive a great disaster, you are bound for good fortune. Wolf King had broken through. Fatso had also broken through by chance. Now the overall strength of their small team was enough to suppress any of the 9 great states. If they met Wan Qiu and the others in the future, they would no longer be afraid of the spiritual state. It was also at this moment. Fatso's eyelids moved, and he slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were a little confused. Where is this? Why doesn't it look like hell? Could it be that Fat Lord has come to heaven? Ordinary people can't go to heaven. It seems that Fat Lord is indeed a good person. Fatty mumbled, and in the end he even laughed narcissistically. Everyone was speechless. How could this damned fatso be considered a good person? If he could, then there would be no bad people in the world. Qin Feiyang kicked him and said, "Get up if you're awake. Don't smile like an idiot." "Boss." Fatso was stunned. He suddenly turned over and got up. Scanning the crowd around him, he said in surprise, "Fat Lord isn't dead?" "Yeah, you're too shameless. Even the heavens don't dare to accept you." Wolf King rolled his eyes. "That's impossible." Fatso frowned and looked inside his heart. Wasn't his heart broken? Why was it fine now? What was going on? Was this an illusion? He fiercely pinched the fat on his stomach and grimaced in pain. "It's not an illusion. Then why is this? Could it be that Fat Lord is too kind? Even the heavens are too embarrassed to take away Fat Lord's life?" He muttered to himself with a confused expression. "Can you not be so shameless?" Qin Feiyang's face twitched. He fiercely knocked Fatso's head, and immediately told Fatso what had happened before in detail. So that's how it is. Only then did Fatso come to a realization. But then a look of ecstasy appeared on his face. He had actually profited from a disaster and broken through to a 2-star battle master? Sigh. However, he suddenly sighed softly again. "Why are you sighing?" Qin Feiyang was puzzled. Without a doubt, Fat Lord was a very good person in both his past and present life. Therefore, one should do less bad things and accumulate more good deeds. Only then will one have great luck. The fatty chuckled. His smug look immediately aroused public indignation. Qin Feiyang kicked Fatso on the spot. He was in so much pain that he cried out loudly. He was still injured. How could he be treated with violence? He scolded Qin Feiyang for being heartless. Of course, this was just a joke to liven up the atmosphere. It was also a different way to express his joy at the moment. "Okay, stop fooling around. It's time to get down to business." Qin Feiyang's face turned solemn, and a cold light surged in his eyes. At that moment, the whole place fell silent. Fatso sneered. "Indeed, I have to settle this score with it. If it wasn't for the fire of life, he would have gone to hell. All this was thanks to the Crocodile Emperor. Naturally, he had to repay it double." Qin Feiyang looked at Dong Junyang and the rest. "You guys don't have to go out this time. Fatso and White-Eyed Wolf will go out with me." "Okay." They nodded. Of course, they knew that they couldn't get involved in the upcoming battle. Swoosh. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and appeared outside with Wolf King and Fatso. Boom. Crack. As soon as the 2 men and 1 wolf appeared, they saw a doomsday-like scene. The Crocodile Emperor was crazily destroying the earth. It affected half of the island. The mountains collapsed and the ground was shattered. Qin Feiyang looked around and looked up at the Crocodile Emperor. He said sternly, "We're out. It's time for you to die." "Huh." The Crocodile Emperor stopped and looked at the 2 men and the wolf. It immediately looked at Fatso in shock and anger. "Why aren't you dead? You think a piece of trash like you can kill Fat Lord?" Fatso looked at it with disdain. Wolf King shouted, "Cut the crap. Just cripple it." "Cripple me? You guys really have guts." The Crocodile Emperor roared and charged towards the 2 men and the wolf with monstrous anger. With every step it took, the earth would tremble and crack. The momentum was terrifying. However, Fatso was no longer the Fatso of the past. Swish. He took a step forward and walked towards the Crocodile Emperor without flinching. Although the man and beast were walking, their speed was extremely fast. They gathered in a dozen breaths. Boom. Without saying a word, the Crocodile Emperor's battle aura surged and charged towards Fatso. At the same time, Fatso also activated the dragon transformation ability and instantly transformed into a dragon warrior. His terrifying aura shook the heavens. Then he waved his dragon claw, and a majestic battle aura rushed towards the Crocodile Emperor's battle aura. Seeing Fatso transform, Wolf King's eyes widened in surprise. Qin Feiyang said, "His dragon transformation ability is very similar to your Fury of Berserk. However, your Fury of Berserk is not as powerful as the dragon transformation ability." "Nonsense, of course I know." Wolf King rolled his eyes at him. The dragon transformation ability was a perfect grade battle art. The Fury of Berserk was only an upper grade battle art. There was a huge difference. However, if they were to really fight, it was still confident that it could easily defeat Fatso. Qin Feiyang did not doubt it. Because the white-eyed wolf had a perfect grade battle art, its speed was far superior to Fatso's. Most importantly, the white-eyed wolf's battle soul was the nemesis of all battle souls. It could devour anything it wanted. Boom! The Crocodile Emperor and Fatso's battle auras finally collided. Accompanied by a deafening sound, Fatso stood firmly on the ground and did not move at all. The Crocodile Emperor was sent flying on the spot, spewing blood from its mouth. With a bang, it rolled on the ground, creating a huge pit. The pain made it howl in agony. However, its heart was filled with disbelief. It got up and stared at Fatso, roaring, "How did you become so strong all of a sudden? I have to thank you for this. If not for you, Fat Lord would not be able to break through to 2-star battle ancestor so quickly. Quickly show me your battle soul. Otherwise, you have no chance of winning." Fatso smiled coldly. "What? 2-star battle ancestor?" The Crocodile Emperor was stunned. Not only did it fail to kill this person, but it also helped him break through? This was a great humiliation. Roar! The Crocodile Emperor roared, and a dark light rose behind it. There was a palm-sized object in it. Wolf King asked, "This is its battle soul?" Qin Feiyang nodded. "No matter how strong the battle soul is, it is just trash in front of me." Wolf King did not care, and immediately activated his battle soul. A golden beast shadow appeared in the sky, exuding the majesty of a supreme beast. The Crocodile Emperor looked up at the beast shadow, and its pupils contracted. This battle soul made it feel an inexplicable sense of panic. "Brother Wolf, you don't have to deal with this small fry. You just have to watch the show." Chapter 620. Alright, I'll watch your performance. But if I'm not satisfied with your performance, I'll beat you up. Wolf King glanced at Fatso indifferently. With a thought, the golden beast shadow quickly dissipated. "Don't worry, I guarantee that you'll be satisfied." Fatso chuckled. Roar! Accompanied by a deafening dragon roar, a black dragon rose from behind Fatso. The black dragon was dozens of feet long, like a mountain ridge in the sky, releasing a shocking dragon aura. Black dragon horn. Fatty let out a low growl. A thick dragon horn quickly grew out from the center of the black dragon's head. The dragon horn was more than 10 meters long, and as thick as a thigh. Its surface was glowing with a black light. It was like a divine weapon had appeared in the world. Its divine might was vast and mighty, and it shook the space and the earth. Wow, it even has a dragon horn. This black dragon soul is quite powerful. Wolf King was surprised. Qin Feiyang smiled. The dragon soul is one of the most powerful fighting souls in the world. Wolf King asked telepathically, "What about your purple gold dragon soul?" "Who knows?" Qin Feiyang shrugged his shoulders, revealing an unfathomable expression. "TSK." Wolf King glanced at him in disdain. "Little worm, have a taste of the power of your Fat Lord Dragon Soul. Kill." At this moment, Fatty let out a low growl. Before his voice died away, the black dragon soul dragged its huge body across the sky and rushed toward the black artifact with earth-shattering might. Boom! In an instant, the dragon horn and the black artifact collided. Crack! An ear-piercing sound suddenly exploded, resounding through the clouds. The black artifact was shattered into pieces under the impact of the dragon horn and turned into nothingness in the blink of an eye. Puff! The Crocodile Emperor spat out a mouthful of blood. Its huge eyes were filled with shock. Previously, it had fought with Fatso's dragon soul, but at that time, the dragon soul was no match for its fighting soul. But now, Fatso had broken through to 2-star War Master, and the power of the dragon soul had also increased explosively. Its fighting soul was already unparalleled. "How is it? Do you feel hopeless?" Fatso grinned. The black dragon soul swooped down and pounced towards the Crocodile Emperor ferociously. "The one who should despair is not me, but you." The Crocodile Emperor's eyes were filled with murderous intent. After he finished speaking, he let out a thunderous roar. Roar! On the other side of the island, loud roars could be heard, as if responding to the crocodile emperor. Boom! Following closely, the island over there exploded with a series of loud noises. In the meantime, half of the island shook violently, and even a few mountain peaks in the distance collapsed. Qin Feiyang was extremely bewildered. "What are you doing?" he asked angrily. "Do what?" "Of course it's to destroy this island." At that time, no matter how powerful you are, you won't be able to escape death. Emperor Crocodile grinned. Boom! Having said that, the Crocodile Emperor did not retreat. Instead, it charged towards Fatso's Black Dragon Soul. "Leave all of you to die with us." The Crocodile Emperor roared as its head was torn to pieces by the Black Dragon Snake. Its blood dyed the ground red. Bam! Then, its huge body fell to the ground and died on the spot. Boom! The loud noises on the other side of the island were deafening, and the island was shaking more violently. "Damn it!" Fatso cursed and dispersed the Black Dragon Snake. He turned to look at Qin Feiyang and asked, "Boss, what do we do now?" Qin Feiyang's face was solemn as well. Destroy the island and let them die with it. He did not expect the Crocodile Emperor to do such a crazy thing. After pondering for a moment, Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Dong Jingyang Jiangwei, Shen Long, Dongfang Wuhan and Murong Xiong appeared. Qin Feiyang said in a low voice, "Follow Fatso immediately and kill the 13 king crocodile." Dong Jingyang asked, "What about the other dragon crocodiles?" Qin Feiyang's eyes were cold as he said coldly, "Kill them all." "Boss, I'm afraid this method won't work. Because they can sneak into the swamp and destroy the foundation of the island. By then the island will still sink." Fatso said. Dong Jingyang and the others nodded. Qin Feiyang said, "I've thought about this before, but now we can only do our best to stop them from destroying the island." Dong Jingyang said, "All right, we'll do our best." Whoosh! The 6 of them immediately rushed to the other side of the island. Watching the 6 of them leave, Wolf King asked, "What are the 2 of us doing?" Qin Feiyang said, "Looking for a way to leave the island." It was obviously unrealistic to build a bridge now, so they had to find another way. "What other way is there?" Wolf King looked at him suspiciously. "Look for the Black Dragon Snake. The Black Dragon Snake has lived here for hundreds of years. It might have a way to leave this place." Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Whiz! 1 man and 1 wolf immediately turned around and rushed towards the valley. The valley was where Qin Feiyang and the Black Dragon Snake parted ways. If they wanted to find the Black Dragon Snake, they naturally had to start there. Qin Feiyang was not worried about not being able to find it. Firstly, the Black Dragon Snake would definitely leave traces along the way. Secondly, Wolf King could also track the scent of the Black Dragon Snake. Soon, they arrived at the valley, but the valley had already collapsed when they fought with the mother crocodile, leaving behind a mess. Qin Feiyang recalled the direction the Black Dragon Snake left in and chased after it. Sure enough, along the way, the Black Dragon Snake left traces, which was still a wide ditch. Following these traces, a man and a wolf arrived in front of a canyon in the south. The canyon was surrounded by mountains on all sides, and there was only one narrow entrance. The traces led to that entrance. "Little Qinzi, I have a question that has always puzzled me. According to your character, you should have killed Dongfang Wuhan long ago. But why did you forgive them again and again?" The Wolf King asked telepathically as he flew toward the canyon. "Killing them like this is too easy for them. I want to leave them until the end, let them feel despair, pain, and regret for the rest of their lives." Qin Feiyang sneered, and a fierce look flashed in his eyes. Of course, his voice was very low, and only Wolf King could hear it. No one in the castle could hear it. "Leave them until the end?" Wolf King was stunned, and then seemed to understand something. He secretly laughed and said, "You are really not a good guy. Do you know how to talk?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at him. While talking, a man and a wolf came to the entrance and rushed in without hesitation. The canyon was lush with vegetation and rocks, but it was not big, about 5 or 6 meters. In the corner of the canyon, a huge python was lying in the grass, and a palm-sized flame was floating in front of it. The python was staring at the flame intently, drooling, and didn't even notice the arrival of Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. "That's right. The python was the black dragon snake. The flame was the fire of life. When Wolf King saw the fire of life, his eyes suddenly lit up. Qin Feiyang laughed and said, "Little bug, we meet again. This is fate." The black dragon snake was shocked. But when it saw Qin Feiyang, a trace of anger climbed up in its eyes, and it roared, "Why are you always haunting me?" Qin Feiyang strode to the opposite side of the black dragon snake and said with a faint smile, "You treat me like a fool, so of course I won't let it go. What do you want? Let me tell you, my reverse scale has been reborn. 10 of you are no match for me. Get out of here if you don't want to die." The black dragon snake shouted impatiently, "Yo, so powerful. Come on, let me have a taste of your strength." The Wolf King took a step forward and transformed into a muscular wolf that was more than 10 meters tall. His ferocious aura surged, causing the entire canyon to tremble. The black dragon snake looked at Wolf King in surprise and said, "Who are you? This is between me and him. What does it have to do with you?" "Sorry, little Qin Z is my little brother. My little brother was fooled, so I must help my little brother get back at him. I heard that your stupid dragon scale is very powerful. Come on, let me see it." The Wolf King stood on the ground and looked down at the black dragon snake with eyes full of contempt. "Little brother?" Qin Feiyang's face twitched. "Stupid thing?" At the same time, the black dragon snake was stunned and became furious on the spot. It said coldly, "Looks like you want to die. Then I'll fulfill your wish." Finished. Accompanied by a loud clanging sound, the reverse scale on the black dragon snake's forehead suddenly fell off, and with a world-destroying edge, it charged towards Wolf King. Qin Feiyang said, "Don't waste time with it. Brother knows." Wolf King laughed and waved its claws. A rib appeared, and then it grabbed the rib and used it as a stick to smash the reverse scale. Clang! The dragon scale shattered on the spot. The black dragon snake spurted out blood, and its eyes were filled with shock. It actually shattered its reverse scale with a single strike? Is this a dream? Boom! It suddenly quivered and turned its head to crash into the mountain behind it, causing the mountain to collapse on the spot. Immediately, without saying a word, it rolled up the fire of life and fled in panic without looking back. "Why are you running?" Wolf King grinned, stepped on the air, and appeared in front of the black dragon snake in a few flashes. At the same time, Qin Feiyang also used phantom steps and blocked the back of the black dragon snake. Being blocked from the front and back, the black dragon snake was burning with anxiety. It roared at Wolf King, "We are the same kind, and you actually helped a human to deal with this emperor. Do you have any self-respect? I already said that he is brother's little brother. Brother will definitely help him. Cut the crap, hand over the fire of life and submit to us. Brother will let bygones be bygones. But if you dare to refuse, brother's dog-beating stick will take your life." Wolf King laughed coldly. The black dragon snake looked at the rib on Wolf King's claws, and the fear in its eyes was undisguised. Suddenly, it turned to look at Qin Feiyang and smiled. "Brother, let's still follow our initial agreement. This emperor will follow you for 10 years, and this fire of life will still belong to this emperor. How about it?" There was a hint of flattery in his words. "There's only one chance." Qin Feiyang shook his head. The black dragon snake smiled flatteringly. "Don't be like this. It was indeed this emperor's fault at that time. Can't this emperor apologize to you?" The speed at which he turned hostile was faster than flipping a book. Wolf King said disdainfully, "Do you think that you still have the qualifications to negotiate with us now? This emperor—" The black dragon snake wanted to say something. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed and said indifferently, "You don't have to say anything. I'll give you another chance." All right. Speak. Chapter 621. The fire of life belongs to me. As for your life, I can keep it for now, but I want to observe your performance. If your performance satisfies me, I won't kill you. But if you dare to go against me, then don't blame me for being ruthless. You don't have the conditions to choose. This is the only way. If you don't agree, die now. Qin Feiyang's tone was very decisive, leaving no room for negotiation. Then wouldn't this emperor not only get no benefits, but also have to sacrifice the rest of my life? Don't you think you're going too far? The black dragon snake said angrily. I'm going too far? When you asked for the fire of life, did I give it to you without a second thought? But how did you treat me? If it weren't for the fact that you still have some value, I would have killed you long ago. Why would I talk so much nonsense with you? You asked for it. It has nothing to do with anyone. You don't agree? Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Wolf King and said, Kill it. The black dragon snake hurriedly said, Don't, this emperor agrees. Wouldn't it have been better if you did this from the beginning? Qin Feiyang smiled coldly, stretched out his hand and said, Give it to me. The black dragon snake looked at the fire of life, its eyes full of unwillingness and reluctance, but in the end, it obediently handed it to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang grabbed it in his hand and stored it in an exquisite jade box. If you didn't go back on your words, how good would we be getting along now? You're courting death, do you know that? Wolf King sneered. Yes. The black dragon snake nodded repeatedly, feeling bitter in its heart. Qin Feiyang took out 2 pills from the Qingquan bag and threw them to the black dragon snake. He also put the jade box containing the fire of life into the Qingquan bag. The black dragon snake asked suspiciously, What pills? Qin Feiyang said, Barrier-breaking pill and transformation pill. It can let you speak and change the size of your body. The black dragon snake's eyes lit up and swallowed the 2 pills without hesitation. Qin Feiyang was stunned for a moment before he asked playfully, Aren't you afraid that it's poison? What are you afraid of? With your strength, you can easily kill me. Is there a need to poison me? The black dragon snake pursed its lips. You're quite aware of this. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Then his expression turned serious. There is an emergency and I need your help. What's the situation? The black dragon snake was surprised. Qin Feiyang pointed to the west of the island and said, Do you hear the sound coming from there? The black dragon snake nodded and said, Aren't your companions fighting with the crocodile emperor? No. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said solemnly, It's the crocodiles that are destroying the island. What? The black dragon snake's pupils shrank as he asked in surprise, Where's that old fox? Qin Feiyang said, The crocodile emperor has been killed by us. The black dragon snake's heart was suddenly in turmoil. Having lived on the island for hundreds of years, it knew the crocodile emperor's strength better than anyone else. It could definitely be called an overlord, but in the end, it died in the hands of this group of humans. It seemed that the strength of this group of humans was far stronger than what it had seen before. The black dragon snake calmed down and asked, You want me to stop them? Qin Feiyang asked, Can you? The black dragon snake shook its head and said, I don't have the ability because those vicious crocodiles only listen to the crocodile emperor's orders. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, Then do you have a way to leave this place? No. If there was a way, I would have left long ago. I wouldn't have lived here for hundreds of years. The black dragon snake sighed with a hint of mockery in its eyes. On one hand, it was mocking itself. On the other hand, it was mocking Qin Feiyang. Was there any meaning to snatching the flame of life when he was about to die? Qin Feiyang ignored it. He lowered his head and frowned. The black dragon snake said, Don't think about it. Unless you can fly or subdue a crocodile king, you will definitely die. Fly? Subdue a crocodile king? Qin Feiyang was stunned. These 2 options were worth a try. He looked at the wolf king and said, Give me the rib. Why? The wolf king was puzzled. Qin Feiyang said, Don't talk nonsense. Give it to me. The wolf king looked at him suspiciously and threw the rib to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang grabbed the rib and looked up at the sky. The gravity above the iron chain bridge leading to the ruins was many times more terrifying than the gravity here. But this rib could dispel the gravity. In that case, dispelling the gravity here would not be a problem. Whoosh! After making full preparations, Qin Feiyang suddenly jumped up. As soon as he jumped into the sky, the gravity surged. At the same time, the rib in his hand glowed with a hazy brilliance. Qin Feiyang immediately felt his body become light and suspended in the void. The gravity also disappeared. Really? Qin Feiyang was overjoyed. The Wolf King looked at this scene, and was also very surprised. The black dragon snake was full of surprise. What kind of bone could break the rules here? Flying. For creatures living in the Nine Nether Hell, flying was simply something that they did not dare to hope for. How could the black dragon snake not be surprised when it happened in front of its eyes? The Wolf King shouted, "Little Qinzi, fly around for me." Qin Feiyang nodded with a smile, but at this moment, a sudden change occurred. A gravitational force that was even more powerful than before descended from the sky and smashed onto Qin Feiyang's body. Bang! At this moment, Qin Feiyang smashed into the ground below like a meteorite. Blood kept coming out of his mouth, and his body was about to fall apart. What's going on? The Wolf King stared and hurriedly ran to Qin Feiyang's side, asking with concern, "Are you still alive? You want me to die, don't you?" Qin Feiyang looked up and glared at it angrily. Even if it cared about someone, it shouldn't care about him like this. Then he looked up at the sky, his eyes full of surprise. The previous situation gave him the feeling that someone was secretly controlling the gravity, and it seemed to be warning him not to break the rules here. But wasn't this too ridiculous? The Wolf King egged him on. "Why don't you try again?" Qin Feiyang pondered for a while, got up, grabbed the rib, and jumped into the sky again. The gravity immediately shrouded him. But this time, something even stranger than the previous one happened. The rib in his hand did not respond. Without a doubt, he was blasted down by the gravity again, creating a big pit. What's going on? The Wolf King looked at the sky in bewilderment, unable to understand. Qin Feiyang got up in a sorry state and said in a deep voice, "There's only one explanation. The rib is afraid and doesn't dare to wake up." What? The Wolf King was dumbfounded. Qin Feiyang said, "It seems that the Nine Nether Yellow Springs is far from the ruins. We can't break the rules here anymore." The Wolf King asked, "Then tell me who set the rules here?" One must know that the owner of this rib was Mu Tianyang. Mu Tianyang was the emperor of the previous dynasty's Tianyang Empire, and was a strong opponent of the first emperor of the Great Qin Empire. One could imagine how strong he was. Now that even the rib was afraid, then wouldn't the person who set up this rule be even more terrifying than Mu Tianyang? Suddenly, the Wolf King seemed to think of something and looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. Could it be him? Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. He pondered for a while and nodded. It could be him. Who? The black dragon snake asked curiously. The Wolf King immediately frowned and said coldly, "It's none of your business, don't ask." The black dragon snake shrank its neck, its eyes full of fear. The person that Qin Feiyang and the Wolf King were talking about was naturally the first emperor. Because in this world, only this legendary supreme existence had this ability. And only this founding emperor of the Great Qin Empire had the strength to make Mu Tianyang afraid. But this was just a guess. What was going on was still to be verified. However, flying was definitely impossible. Now there was only one last way, which was to subdue the king crocodile. Qin Feiyang shook off the soil on his body, put away the rib, and rushed to meet up with Fatso with the Wolf King and the black dragon snake. A few hundred breaths later, Qin Feiyang came to the other end of the island and saw Fatso and the others standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at the swamp in front of them with ugly expressions. And in the swamp, not a single dragon crocodile could be found. Qin Feiyang frowned and asked, "What's the situation?" Fatso said angrily, "These beasts are very cunning. When they saw us coming, they all hid below. The most important thing is that the footholds further away have been destroyed by them. Right now, the closest foothold to us is 600 to 700 meters away. There's no way to go over such a long distance." Dong Jungyang said in a deep voice, his face full of worry. The black dragon snake said disdainfully, "If you don't get rid of the crocodiles first, even if there is a foothold, do you dare to go over?" Because of the death of the crocodile emperor, the crocodile group had already gone crazy and would definitely not chase them away like before. Just as the black dragon snake said, once they landed on other islands or mounds, the crocodile group would definitely chase after them and beat them up. Moreover, it was countless times more dangerous than on this island. Because the other islands and mounds were too small and fragile, they could not withstand the impact of the crocodile group. However, If they did not think of a way, when the crocodile group destroyed the foundation of the island, they would still sink into the swamp with the island. It would still be a dead end. Boss, Fat Lord doesn't want to die young. You must think of a way. Fatso looked helplessly at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang looked at the swamp, his eyes flickering, and said after a moment, "You guys stay here and watch. I will go to the castle and ask Ren Wuxia and the others. Black Dragon Snake, you will follow Fatso from now on. No matter what he says, you have to listen unconditionally." After saying that, he flashed and went to the castle. "You want this emperor to follow you, fat pig?" Hearing Qin Feiyang's words, the black dragon snake immediately looked at Fatso, its eyes full of disdain. "What? Following Fat Lord, are you at a disadvantage?" Fatso raised his eyebrows. The black dragon snake said disdainfully, "With your wretched appearance, why don't you go and look in the mirror? Are you worthy of this emperor? You're not much better." Fatso snorted coldly. The black dragon snake said, "As long as I'm better than you." Fatso rolled up his sleeves and said angrily, "Fat Lord's temper, are you asking for a beating? You're the one who's asking for a beating. If you have the guts, wait for this emperor to repair his reverse scale and fight. Whoever loses will be my follower." The black dragon snake provoked, full of confidence. "Yo, you're quite timid. You even dare to provoke Fat Lord." Fatso let out a strange cry, looked at the black dragon snake as if he was looking at an idiot, and said, "All right, Fat Lord, just you wait. If I don't beat you up until you cry for your father and mother, Fatso's name will be written upside down." Chapter 622. Inside the castle, Qin Feiyang glanced at Wu Yan and the others, saying, "I believe you all have heard the situation outside. If you have any ideas, quickly tell us so that we can consider them." Everyone looked at each other, but in the end no one spoke. Their faces were full of helplessness. "Alas, you and Dong Junyang can't do anything. What good ideas can we come up with?" Lu Xingchen sighed softly. Ren Wuxia said angrily, "Do we have to give up because there's no way? I don't want anyone to say such discouraging words again. Ideas are thought of by people. Everyone think about it carefully." Lu Xingchen said, "Wuxia, I know you have a strong personality, but now the facts are in front of us. What can we do?" Ren Wuxia raised his eyebrows, saying, "Don't call me so intimately. Do you know me well? We used to have an engagement." Lu Xingchen smiled bitterly. "That was in the past. Now, other than being in the same sect as you, we have nothing to do with each other." Ren Wuxia said coldly. Lu Xingchen sighed deeply, but at the same time, a flash of light flashed in his eyes. He looked up at Qin Feiyang and said, "Brother Qin, I suddenly thought of a way." Everyone was stunned and looked at Lu Xingchen, their eyes full of expectation. Qin Feiyang was also surprised and asked, "Really?" Lu Xingchen said with a smile, "At this time, I don't dare to talk nonsense." Qin Feiyang said, "Tell me." Lu Xingchen said with a mysterious smile, "I can't say, just take me out." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed slightly. Without hesitation, he led Lu Xingchen out of the castle. When they appeared outside, Lu Xingchen did not greet Fatso and the others. He looked directly at the swamp in front of him and frowned slightly. "Wait a moment." Next, Lu Xingchen said a few words to Qin Feiyang before he turned around and left alone. "What's the situation?" Seeing this, Fatso and the others looked suspicious. Qin Feiyang said, "He said he had a way to leave the island." "Really?" Everyone was bewildered. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "I don't know, but that's what he said." Dong Junyang said, "This person is really hard to see through." Qin Feiyang was taken aback. He looked at Dong Junyang and the others and said, "You are all from the prefecture city, and your ages are about the same. You should know Lu Xingchen better than I do, right?" Dong Junyang said, "We did understand the Lu Xingchen of the past, but the current Lu Xingchen." At this point he frowned, his face full of confusion. Shen Long and the others were the same. Qin Feiyang and Fatso looked at each other, their eyes shining with an inexplicable light. Boom! The crocodile group was still destroying the foundation of the island below. The rumbling sound was incessant. At first, only half of the island was trembling, but in the end, The entire island was shaking violently. They even faintly felt that the island was shaking. At this rate, the island would definitely sink into the swamp in less than an hour. What's going on? Didn't you say to wait a while? It's already been half an hour. Why hasn't he returned yet? Morong Xiong said angrily. Dong Jungyang and the others were also restless. Fatso frowned and said, Boss, do you think he will sneak away quietly? Probably. Qin Feiyang wanted to say that it should be impossible, but he really couldn't figure out the current Lu Xingqian, so he didn't dare to make a judgment. Boom! Suddenly, a particularly ear-piercing sound came from the north. Qin Feiyang was shocked and hurriedly turned his head to look. He immediately saw a large piece of land collapse and quickly sink into the swamp. It's over, it's really over this time. The black dragon snake wailed. Dong Jungyang said in a deep voice. It seems that in less than an hour, the island will completely sink. Morong Xiong gritted his teeth and said, Let's split up and find Lu Xingqian. Don't go. None of us know when he will come back. What if he comes back and we're not there? Won't we have to waste time looking for us? What we have to do now is to stay here and quietly wait for him to come back. Qin Feiyang said. Morong Xiong said. But what if he doesn't come back? If he doesn't come back, we'll think of another way. Although the swamp can swallow everything, as long as we hide in the castle, our lives won't be in danger for the time being. Qin Feiyang said. Boom! Accompanied by a loud noise, a large piece of the land in the south also collapsed. Their hearts gradually sank into an ice valley. Although they could hide in the castle in the end, the castle could only protect them for a while, but not forever. Because once the castle sank into the swamp, they could forget about coming out. At that time, it would still be a dead end. Crack! Suddenly, another loud noise came from under their feet. Qin Feiyang looked down and suddenly raised his eyebrows. The ground under their feet also cracked open a crack. Retreat! Qin Feiyang shouted. Fatso and the others also noticed this situation at the first moment. Immediately, the group of people retreated like lightning. Boom! As soon as they retreated, the crack expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye and spread to both sides. In less than 5 breaths, a piece of land hundreds of meters wide broke off from the island and sank into the swamp in the blink of an eye. However, this was just the beginning. The island shook violently, like a small boat in a storm, teetering on the verge of collapse. Boom! In less than 100 breaths, the island, which was originally thousands of feet wide, was now only about 500 feet wide. And now, the speed of the island's collapse was several times faster than at the beginning. Shenlong said in a deep voice, If Lu Xingqian didn't leave alone, then I'm afraid he's in danger now. Let's hurry to the castle. In the past, I was really curious about Qin Feiyang's castle and wanted to go in and have a look, but now, I really don't want to go in. Jiang Wei smiled bitterly. Dong Jungyang, Morong Xiong, and Dongfang Wuhan also nodded, feeling the same. Because once they went in, they might not be able to come out for the rest of their lives. But now, it seemed that there was no other way. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile. Only when people are alive will they have a chance. Dong Jungyang sighed. You're the only one who can laugh now. Regarding Qin Feiyang's temperament, they all felt inferior. As a person, you have to be optimistic. Qin Feiyang smiled and was about to bring them to the castle. Sorry to have kept you waiting. But at this moment, Lu Xingqian's voice came from afar. Everyone's eyes lit up as they raised their heads to look. Immediately, they revealed looks of bewilderment. At this moment, Lu Xingqian was extremely embarrassed. His clothes were torn, his body was covered with wounds, and his face was extremely pale. But that wasn't the point. The point was that behind him was a 30-meter-long dragon crocodile. Obviously, it was a crocodile king. The crocodile king also had countless wounds on its body. It was full of murderous aura. But at this moment, it was obediently following behind Lu Xingqian like a loyal follower. Soon, Lu Xingqian came in front of Qin Feiyang and the others. The crocodile king also stopped behind him, staring at them fiercely. Shenlong looked at the crocodile king suspiciously and said, Lu Xingqian, what's going on? Lu Xingqian said with a smile, Don't worry, it's now our partner. It won't hurt anyone. Partner? Shenlong looked doubtful. Qin Feiyang looked at Lu Xingchen meaningfully and said, "If you have any questions, ask after we leave this place." Lu Xingchen jumped up and landed on the Crocodile King's back. He looked at Qin Feiyang and the others and said, "Come up quickly." They looked at each other and jumped up one after another. The black dragon snake also became a meter long and coiled around Fatso's thigh. Next, Lu Xingchen stepped lightly on the Crocodile King's back and said, "Bring us out of here quickly." Roar. The Crocodile King roared and ran towards the swamp at full speed. Fatso frowned slightly and asked worriedly, "Lu Xingchen, are you sure it won't throw us into the swamp after we enter?" Lu Xingchen smiled and said, "Don't worry." Fatso looked at him and said telepathically, "Boss, don't believe his nonsense. We have to be careful." Qin Feiyang nodded his head without leaving a trace. He was prepared to bring everyone into the castle at any time. 10 meters. 8 meters. 5 meters. 3 meters. The swamp was getting closer and closer. Qin Feiyang's eyes became more and more silent. Dong. Finally, the Crocodile King entered the swamp, but didn't do anything to hurt them. It swam straight ahead. Boom. In less than 10 breaths, there was a deafening sound behind them. Qin Feiyang and the others looked back and saw the entire island falling apart and sinking into the swamp quickly. Huge waves were rolling around. Looking at this scene, everyone was filled with lingering fear. Fortunately, Lu Xingchen came back in time. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Roar. At the same time, dragon crocodiles floated out of the swamp and roared continuously. There was a sense of sadness and joy in the roar, as if they were paying tribute to the Crocodile King. Roar. But suddenly, a dragon crocodile saw Qin Feiyang and the others in the distance and roared immediately. With this roar, all the dragon crocodiles turned and stared at Qin Feiyang and the others. Their huge eyes were filled with anger and shock. Among them, 12 dragon crocodiles swam slowly to the front of the group and formed a line. They were more than 30 meters long. Obviously, they were crocodile kings. But their eyes weren't on Qin Feiyang and the others. They were on the Crocodile King under their feet. Their eyes were filled with confusion. Roar. Suddenly, one of the Crocodile Kings roared at the Crocodile King under their feet. It seemed to be asking why it betrayed everyone and why it helped those humans. But the Crocodile King under their feet was silent. "Let's go," Lu Xingchen shouted. The Crocodile King under their feet immediately turned around and swam forward with them, splashing mud a few meters high. Roar. Right at this moment, the 12 Crocodile Kings roared together and led the crocodile group behind them to chase after Qin Feiyang and the others. Their eyes were filled with a terrifying ferocious glint. "You dare to chase after us?" The corner of the fatty's mouth lifted as he chuckled. "Lord Fatty will make sure you don't return." Lu Xingchen reached out and stopped Fatso. He shook his head and said, "Don't kill them." "Huh." Fatso was stunned. Lu Xingchen said, "I promised it in advance that I wouldn't hurt its kind. As a person, I have to keep my word." Fatso glanced at the Crocodile King under his feet and asked curiously, "How did you subdue it?" Lu Xingchen smiled and said, "I was lucky. Tell me then." Chapter 623. Qin Feiyang was also very curious. The black dragon snake initially proposed to subdue a dragon crocodile. However, in his opinion, this was simply impossible. But he didn't expect Lu Xingchen to do it. And it was a crocodile king. He definitely didn't believe that it was just luck. Lu Xingchen glanced at them and said with a smile, "Actually, my method is the same as the black dragon snakes. Subdue a dragon crocodile and let it take us away." After coming out of the castle, I looked everywhere for a dragon crocodile, but I couldn't find it. But just as the island began to collapse, I found this crocodile king at the edge of the island in the southwest. At that time, it was seriously injured. When I met it, it even wanted to swallow me alive. Although I was very weak, its injuries were also very serious. It almost didn't even have the strength to stand up. After a fight, I gained the upper hand. My injuries were caused when I was fighting with it. In the end, under my sincere pleading, it finally nodded and followed me. But it also put forward a condition. It can take us away, but we are not allowed to hurt other dragon crocodiles. Lu Xingchen said with a smile. Ah, Qin Feiyang and the others were stunned. It was that simple. But why did it sound a little unreal? Was that really the case? Dong Jungyang was puzzled. It didn't fight with us. How could it be injured? Lu Xingchen said. I also asked. It was injured by the collapsed land when it was bombarding the foundation of the island. Injured? They looked at each other. This kind of thing could happen? Wolf King said telepathically. Little Qin Zi Fatso, do you believe it? Fatso said secretly. I don't know if boss believes it or not, but Fat Lord doesn't believe it. There must be something else. Qin Feiyang didn't express any doubts, because there was no need. So what if Lu Xingchen was lying? As long as he didn't do anything to hurt them, as long as he could get them out of this swamp, nothing else mattered. Dong Jungyang and the others were all experienced people, so they naturally didn't pursue the matter. Qin Feiyang muttered to himself for a moment before taking out 5 healing pills with 4 veins and handing them to Lu Xingchen. The group of crocodiles behind us will definitely chase us to the end. Quickly feed it, or else it will collapse before we can leave the swamp. Thank you. Lu Xingchen took the elixir and thanked him. He walked to the king crocodile's head and smiled. These elixirs are rare. You are in luck. Then he tossed out 5 healing pills. The king crocodile's eyes lit up when it saw the markings. It rushed forward, raised its head, and swallowed the 5 healing pills. Boundless energy instantly exploded within its body. The healing speed of his injuries also increased exponentially. Roar! It let out an excited roar, and its speed suddenly increased, carrying the group of people and breaking through the waves. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. In these 2 days, other than the group of crocodiles chasing after them, they didn't encounter any other ferocious beasts blocking their way. The fatty glanced at the front and turned to look at Qin Feiyang. He smiled mischievously and said, Boss, you cultivate. We'll just watch. Hee, if you don't cultivate now, you'll probably still be a 9-star combat emperor when we break through to the 5-star combat grandmaster level. Wolf King laughed sinisterly. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and looked at Dong Jungyang and the others. You and the white-eyed wolf go to the castle. Lu Xingchen, Fatso, and the black dragon snake will be enough outside. Everyone nodded. Anyway, there was no danger now. Instead of staying outside, they might as well go to the castle and cultivate in seclusion. Moreover, if there were too many people, it would be a burden to the king crocodile. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the few of them and Wolf King disappeared without a trace. With Wolf King in charge, he wasn't afraid of Dongfang Wuhan and Morong Xiong messing around in the castle. Then, Qin Feiyang sat cross-legged on the king crocodile's back, took out a battle chi pill, and threw it into his mouth, closed his eyes and meditated. Time passed like this, day by day. Lu Xingchen, quickly take a look and see if there's land in front of us. Early in the morning, Fatso suddenly exclaimed. Lu Xingchen was also cultivating during this period of time, so the guarding work fell on Fatso and the black dragon snake. Hearing Fatso's exclamation, Lu Xingchen opened his eyes, and a hint of joy suddenly appeared on his face. Hundreds of meters away, there was an undulating mountain ridge that stretched to the end of both sides, like a coastline by the sea. If that wasn't land, then what was it? Finally, we've reached the end. Looking at the mountain ridge, Fatso and Lu Xingchen were filled with emotions. Looking back, the experience during this period of time was like a nightmare that they couldn't wake up from. After Lu Xingchen came back to his senses, he turned to look at Qin Feiyang and asked in surprise, why didn't he react at all? Fatso looked at Qin Feiyang seriously and said, looking at boss's aura, he should be at the critical moment of breakthrough. Qin Feiyang's aura was sometimes strong and sometimes weak. When it was strong, it was close to a battle master. When it was weak, it was almost non-existent. So fast. Lu Xingchen was amazed. Is it fast? Fatso was stunned. Nonsense. What was your cultivation level when you first came to the city? How long has it been? You have already surpassed me. And I'm only a 7-star combat emperor now. Lu Xingchen shook his head. How could there be such a huge gap between people? Fatso suddenly became proud and laughed. We can't help it, we're all geniuses. Well, it's too hurtful to interact with geniuses like you. It seems like I'll have to keep a distance from you in the future, Lu Xingchen said helplessly. The black dragon snake suddenly said, I'll interrupt and ask you a few questions. Both of them looked at it in confusion. The black dragon snake looked at them and asked, when you two met, what was the difference in cultivation level? Lu Xingchen said, I was a 5-star combat emperor at that time, and they had just broken through to the Battle King realm. What? The black dragon snake's eyes widened. The difference in cultivation level was so big, but they had surpassed them? It looked at Fatso and asked suspiciously, how did you do it? Before Fatso could answer, Lu Xingchen said, they have all opened the gate of potential. How could it not be fast? The gate of potential. The black dragon snake was dumbfounded. After a long time, it regained its senses and looked at Lu Xingchen, shaking its head. You're really an idiot. Lu Xingchen almost spat out a mouthful of blood. One had to know. His talent was one of the best in the spiritual state, but he didn't expect that he would be reduced to an idiot. His heart was hit hard. Let's not talk about it anymore. If I continue, I'm afraid I'll be worse than an idiot. He sighed deeply and looked up at the mountain ridge in front of him. An inexplicable light flashed in the depths of his eyes. At the same time, Fatso turned his head to look at the swamp behind him. The 12 king crocodile and the group of crocodiles had also chased them here. It could be said that they were persevering, and their spirit was commendable. However, as long as they went ashore, these fierce crocodiles wouldn't pose any threat to them. The 12 king crocodile seemed to have realized this, so they were desperately chasing after them. They wanted to stop Qin Feiyang and the others before they went ashore. However, at their current speed, it was obviously impossible. Land was close at hand. Fatso and Lu Xingchen already had a victorious smile on their faces. Boom! However, at this moment, a terrifying aura suddenly surged from somewhere in the mountain range. Following closely, a bright flaming battle aura emerged from the mountain ridge. It carried a monstrous murderous aura and charged towards Qin Feiyang and the others. Who is it? Fatso, Lu Xingchen, and the black dragon snake's expressions suddenly changed, because that aura was even stronger than that of a 1-star battle ancestor. And to intercept them at this time, it was obvious that they wanted to kill them. However, Qin Feiyang didn't move at all. His eyes were still closed. However, the king crocodile under their feet was disturbed and stopped. Not knowing what to do, Fatso shouted, Don't be afraid. Continue forward. Fat Lord, I want to see who is borrowing courage from the heavens to intercept us. Because once they stopped, the crocodile group behind them would catch up, and it would be even more troublesome. After spending some time together, the king crocodile had a good understanding of Fatso's strength. Hearing Fatso's words, it immediately calmed down and continued to swim towards the shore. Boom! That flaming battle aura was murderous. Wherever it passed, huge waves of dozens of feet high were set off in the swamp. Humph! Fatso snorted coldly. He raised his hand and pointed in the air. The black dragon battle aura roared out and collided with the flaming battle aura. Boom! At that moment, 2 streams of battle chi exploded in the air, creating a terrifying wave of destructive chi that surged out in all directions with an earth-shattering momentum. Seeing that the situation was not good, the black dragon snake hurriedly activated its battle aura and formed a black barrier to protect the king crocodile and Qin Feiyang. Because of that, the king crocodile's speed did not slow down at all. At the same time, there was a sound of surprise in the mountain ridge. It seemed that they were surprised by Fatso's strength. Fatso stared at the place where the flaming battle aura emerged. A cold light flashed in his eyes and he said, Lu Xingchen, don't you feel that the aura is a little familiar? Familiar? Lu Xingchen was stunned. After a careful analysis, he nodded and said, It is indeed familiar. I should have met it before. But who is it? Not bad. It hasn't been long and your strength has improved so much. But you're not the only one who has improved. Try this move of mine again. Phoenix Fire. At that moment, there was a sinister laughter in the mountain ridge. Boom. Then, In the mountain ridge, a wave of fire rushed to the sky and shone in all directions. The scale of the flame was not big, but the outline was like a soaring phoenix. It swooped down towards Qin Feiyang and the others. This voice, Fatso raised his eyebrows. The voice sounded familiar to him. It's him. Lu Xingqian suddenly said, his eyes shining. Who? Fatso was surprised. Lu Xingqian said, Kong region's Feng Wuxia. Back then, when everyone was imprisoned by the people of the Kong region, he was also inside. Thus, when he heard the voice, he remembered. So it's him. Fatso suddenly realized and frowned. But Fat Lord remembers, he is a one-star war master? You, who hadn't even reached the war master level back then, have already broken through to the 2-star war master. Is it strange for him to break through from the 1-star war master to the 2-star war master? Lu Xingqian asked. Fatso was startled, then laughed. Fat Lord is a peerless genius, how can he compare? Lu Xingqian immediately rolled his eyes, and said in a deep voice, Don't talk nonsense, this phoenix fire is definitely a high-grade battle art, we can't be careless. High-grade battle art? Chapter 624. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, Fatso immediately activated the dragon transformation art, and transformed into a dragon warrior. His terrifying aura shook the entire area. The group of crocodiles that were chasing from behind couldn't help but stop. They looked at Fatty with fear in their eyes. At this moment, the flaming battle chi that was shaped like a phoenix had already arrived above Qin Feiyang and the others. However, Fatso only waved his hand gently, and the flaming battle chi dissipated into nothingness. Feng Wuxia, who was hiding in the mountains, widened his eyes in shock when he saw this scene. He defeated his superior battle art with a wave of his hand. Wasn't he too powerful? Feng Wuxia, don't run away today if you have the guts. Fatso stood with his hands behind his back. His clothes and hair fluttered in the wind as he pursed his lips in disdain. Needless to say, at this very moment, he was quite imposing. Lu Xingqian glanced at Fatso, and then at Qin Feiyang, who had his eyes closed. He couldn't help but sigh. Fatso and Wolf King, who were by Qin Feiyang's side, had already grown up. Furthermore, with his current strength, no one in the 9 great prefectures could match him. Once Qin Feiyang broke through to the War Master realm, there would be no suspense about the outcome of this 9-states war. Silence reigned in the mountain range. Feng Wuxia also didn't make any movements. But suddenly, a young man with an evil aura walked out of the forest on the shore of the swamp and entered the sight of Fatso and the others. Who else could it be but Feng Wuxia? He stood on a huge rock on the shore with his arms crossed in front of his chest. He glanced at Qin Feiyang, Lu Xingqian, and the black dragon snake before his gaze landed on Fatso. A scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at with new eyes. Your current strength is really beyond my expectations. Even though Fatso had displayed unparalleled strength, Feng Wuxia didn't seem to be afraid. Fatso said disdainfully, Your strength is nothing. Really? Although my strength might be slightly inferior to yours, it might not be that easy for you all to reach the shore today. Feng Wuxia smiled. You? Fatso smiled contemptuously. He definitely won't be able to. But don't forget that the Kong state still has a lot of experts. Since he's here, the others must be nearby as well. Also, Yuzhou has allied with them. You've seen Wan Qiu's strength with your own eyes. He's definitely not an ordinary person. That's why we can't underestimate them. Lu Xingqian whispered. What does it matter? If 1 Fat Lord comes, I'll kill 1. If 2 come, I'll kill 2 Fat Lord. If they dare to come forward, Fat Lord will kill them all. Fatso said domineeringly. Ugh. Lu Xingqian was startled. He then shook his head helplessly. This guy was too full of himself. Next, he turned his head to look at Feng Wuxia and frowned. We didn't find any traces of you on the way. But how did you know that we would come here and ambush us here in advance? The swamp was extremely huge. They definitely didn't take the same route. Since the route was different, the location of the shore must be different. But now Feng Wuxia was blocking their way. Was it a coincidence? Well, some time ago, we met a pair of siblings. They said that they could predict your location. So during this time, I've been waiting for you here. I didn't expect that you would really come. Feng Wuxia said. Siblings? Lu Xingchen furrowed his brows. Who were these siblings? How did they have such an ability? Fatso sneered. So what? Fat Lord. I'd like to see how you're going to stop us from going ashore. King Crocodile, don't stop. At this moment, the shore was close at hand. With King Crocodile's speed, it would only take a few blinks of an eye. If he can't, can I? But at this moment, a cold voice sounded. A red-haired young man rushed out of the forest and landed beside Feng Wuxia. Wan Xiu. Lu Xingchen's pupils constricted. What he was afraid of really happened. However, it wasn't over yet. For more people appeared one after another. They were all familiar faces. 3 of them were from Serene State. The last one was from Kong State. These 4 people had fought with Qin Feiyang and the others before. They were all 1-star combat ancestors. In that battle, Kong State and Serene State suffered heavy losses. Only 6 1-star combat ancestors and 3 2-star combat ancestors were left. The rest were all wiped out. Now these people were all here. Only Feng Hua and the pair of sisters were left. Where are the 2 girls and Feng Hua? Why don't I see them? Are they dead? Fatty was not worried at all. He had nothing to fear. Hearing the words girls, Feng Wuxia's eyes suddenly turned cold. Watch your mouth. Wan Chou and the other 4 1-star battle sex faces were also as gloomy as water, filled with dense hatred. Originally, they were confident of victory in this 9-state war. However, they didn't expect that they would almost be wiped out in that one battle. They had wanted to settle this score for a long time. You're angry? Don't tell me you like those 2 girls. And Wan Qiu, do you think you can strategize just because you have a perfect auxiliary battle art? Last time, they were still slaughtered by us. Fatso's face was full of ridicule. The angrier these people were, the more comfortable he felt. Cheap mouth. Killing intent surged in Wan Qiu's eyes, and his aura suddenly exploded. Fatso raised his eyebrows. Wan Qiu's aura was that of a 3-star combat ancestor. The king crocodile behind them was suddenly frightened. Fatso said, "Don't be afraid." The king crocodile calmed down and continued to rush to the shore, but its speed was very slow. You can even tame the fierce beasts in the swamp. You have some ability. However, don't even think about going ashore today. Wan Qiu's eyes were extremely cold. As he spoke, he waved his hand and a bloody light rushed into the sky, forming a sea of blood that floated in the sky. Moreover, there was also a terrifying murderous aura that surged out in all directions with the force of an avalanche. The group of crocodiles behind Qin Feiyang and the others turned around and fled without hesitation. Their eyes were filled with fear. This was because they couldn't interfere in the battle here. If they stayed, they would only die. Although they hated Qin Feiyang and the others, as well as the king crocodile who betrayed them, they valued their lives more. However, Fatso's expression didn't change as he calmly looked at the sea of blood. Hellstone beast. Wan Qiu roared, and the sea of blood that floated in the sky suddenly tumbled. Blood waves surged to the sky. Roar. Suddenly, a roar exploded in the sea of blood, resounding through the heavens and the earth. Following closely, a giant beast rushed out of the sea of blood, and its ferocious aura immediately shrouded all directions. This giant beast seemed to be made of rocks, and was dozens of feet tall. It was like a towering mountain in the sky, and its entire body was filled with a violent and bloody aura. In a trance, it really looked like a demon from hell. Very strong. Lu Xingchen's pupils constricted. Fatso said, "No matter how strong it is, it's just a superior battle technique. Fat Lord is enough here. Go back and watch my boss, lest he accidentally falls into the swamp." Lu Xingchen nodded and immediately ran to Qin Feiyang's side, ready for battle. The blood debt from back then can only be repaid with the blood of all of you. Wan Qiu's body was surrounded by a murderous aura. As he waved his hand, the hellstone beast thumped its chest and stomped its feet. It roared into the sky and charged towards Fatso. "Fat Lord, I'll return those words to you." Fatso also retracted his gaze and looked at Wan Qiu. His eyes were as sharp as a blade, sharp and threatening. The hellstone beast charged towards Fatso in an instant. Its huge fist was accompanied by gusts of wind. and its murderous aura was piercing to the bone. Boom! Fatso suddenly raised his arm, and his palm collided with the Hellstone Beast's fist. Immediately, Black Dragon Battle aura gushed out from his palms. Boom! With an earth-shattering sound, the Hellstone Beast instantly disintegrated. But at the same time, Fatso's body also trembled, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. How could the king crocodile under his feet withstand such a terrifying force? Fatso stood on its back, and its back broke on the spot. Its huge body sank into the swamp. "Hold on!" Fatso shouted. "Roar!" The king crocodile roared, forcibly stabilized its body, and rushed towards the shore without holding back. It was not stupid. If it continued to stay in the swamp, it would be very disadvantageous for Qin Feiyang and the others, and for itself. So it might as well go all out and rush ashore. Seeing this, Feng Wuxia raised his eyebrows and shouted, "Stop them from going ashore!" The 4 one-star battle ancestors, as well as Feng Wuxia himself, immediately performed their battle arts. And they were all their strongest battle arts. Wan Qiu was indifferent at this moment. He looked at Fatso with a dumbfounded expression. His face was filled with disbelief. Boom! 5 great battle arts appeared in an instant. Feng Wuxia's battle art was not the phoenix fire from before, but the fire beacon that had killed Fu Shan. Its aura was extremely shocking. A bunch of ants want to overturn the heavens? Fatty sneered. 5 black dragon battle auras roared out, and crushed the 5 battle arts, as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Feng Wuxia and the other 4 immediately vomited blood. In the form of a dragon warrior, Fatso's cultivation and defense had increased to a 6-star battle ancestor. In other words, with a casual wave of his hand, he had the battle power of a perfect battle art. Feng Wuxia and the other 4's strength was not bad, but compared to the current Fatso, they were too inferior. Boom! The king crocodile finally rushed ashore. It was also at this moment Wan Qiu came back to his senses and shouted, "Retreat!" Feng Wuxia and the other 4 looked at him in surprise. But Wan Qiu did not explain. Because Fatso had already jumped down from the king crocodile's back, there was no time to explain. With a wave of his hand, he swept up Feng Wuxia and the other 4, then turned around and used the perfect auxiliary battle art to rush into the forest without looking back. "Weren't you very arrogant before? Why are you running away now?" Fatso's eyes were filled with disdain. He raised his arm and pointed his index finger in the air. A stream of black dragon battle chi gushed out from his fingertip and blasted into the forest. With a loud bang, the ground hundreds of meters in front of them was instantly razed to the ground. A hole was blasted in the mountain ridge in front of them. Wan Qiu and the others were also sent flying by the terrifying aura. Blood spurted out of their mouths, and their faces were filled with shock. What's going on? How long has it been? His strength has actually reached such a level? The 4 one-star battle ancestors got up from the ground in a sorry state and roared angrily. Feng Wuxia said in a deep voice, "According to my guess, that Fatso should have mastered the perfect slaughter battle art." Wan Qiu said, "It's not a guess, it's the truth." "What?" The 4 of them trembled both physically and mentally as waves surged in their hearts. But don't worry. Although his perfect battle art can increase his cultivation and defense, according to my observation, it can't increase his speed. If we want to leave, he can't stop us. What's more, if we really fight, I'm not afraid of him," Wan Qiu said, his eyes extremely sharp. "Since you're so confident, why are you running away?" Before he finished speaking. Chapter 625. The 6 of them turned around and saw Fatso walking towards them step by step. Black dragon battle chi swirled around his body, making him look like a real dragon. Running away? Wan Qiu turned around and looked at Fatso with disdain in his eyes. Fatso chuckled. "A 3-star combat grandmaster and a perfect auxiliary combat art. If we really fight, Fat Lord might not even be your match." "Good that you know." Wan Qiu sneered and said to Feng Wuxia and the others through telepathy, "You guys will only get in the way if you stay here. Leave first." The reason why he left earlier was to protect the 5 of them. Although he was confident that he could fight Fatso, he knew that there was an unstable factor in his opponent's strength. This factor was Qin Feiyang. With the unfathomable Qin Feiyang and the powerful Fatso, anything could happen. A one-star combat grandmaster glanced behind Fatso and said, "Senior brother Wan Qiu, why don't you stall Fatso here? We'll go to the back and kill Qin Feiyang and the others." Wan Qiu paused. "I think so. I observed carefully just now. Qin Feiyang is a 9-star combat emperor. The other is a 7-star combat emperor. The crocodile is a 1-star combat grandmaster. And only the snake is a 2-star combat grandmaster. As for the others from the spiritual state, we haven't seen them. They should have died in the swamp. With our strength, getting rid of them is as easy as flipping our hands." The other 3 1-star combat grandmasters also said. "But don't forget that Qin Feiyang has an ancient castle. The others from the spiritual state might not be dead and are hiding inside." Wuxia said to himself. He didn't agree with this suggestion as it was too risky. Even if they are hiding in the castle, we can just retreat. That's right. With our speed and strength, they can't stop us. Plus, you're a 2-star combat grandmaster now. With your Fire Phoenix battle soul, it's more than enough to deal with them. The 4 1-star battle ancestors said. Wuxia pondered for a moment and said to himself, "I can give it a try. But if something goes wrong, I must not fight and retreat immediately. Don't worry, we all cherish our lives." There was a hint of a smile in their eyes, but it was a very cold smile. "Since all of you agree, I won't object. But I have a suggestion. Let's attack Qin Feiyang first. Because I just noticed that his aura is not normal. He should be at the critical moment of a breakthrough. You all know that we can't be distracted at this time. Otherwise, we might fall short of success." Wan Qiu transmitted his voice. Fatso looked at them playfully and said, "You guys are exchanging flirtatious glances over there. Are you guys trying to deal with my boss?" The 6 of them felt their hearts tremble. How could he guess that? Fatso's insight was truly astonishing. "You're thinking too much." Wan Qiu sneered and shouted, "Retreat!" Wuxia and the others immediately turned around and flew towards the mountain ridge. "Am I thinking too much?" Fatso muttered. He did not stop the 5 of them, but his eyes were somewhat thought-provoking. Suddenly, his gaze turned cold as he shouted, "Come on, let's settle the score from before today." "That's exactly what I was thinking." Wan Qiu's tone was also extremely cold. Boom! The 2 of them directly clashed. Wan Qiu had a perfect auxiliary battle art, so in terms of speed, he had an absolute advantage. If it were anyone else today, even if they had a perfect slaughter battle art, they would still be at a disadvantage. But Fatso was different. His dragon transformation art was not something that an ordinary perfect battle art could compare to. With a casual wave of his hand or a casual lift of his foot, he had the battle strength of a 6-star battle ancestor. He did not need time to evolve his battle art at all. Moreover, he did not need to compete with Wan Qiu in speed at all. He just stood there and countered his moves. For a moment, the 2 of them were locked in a fierce battle, neither of them having the upper hand. As for Wuxia and the others, after leaving Fatso's line of sight, they turned around and went around the battlefield, rushing towards Qin Feiyang and the others. Wuxia's eyes flashed coldly as he sent a voice transmission to the other 4. "Be sure to kill them in one blow later." As long as they got rid of Qin Feiyang, this unstable factor, the others in the spiritual state were nothing to worry about. On the shore of the swamp, the king crocodile was lying in the grass recuperating. Lu Xingchen stood beside the king crocodile, looking at Fatso and Wan Qiu with worry in his eyes. "Black dragon snake, can you go and help him?" If the black dragon snake took action, together with Fatso, it would be easy to kill Wan Qiu. "Help him? Not interested." The black dragon snake was disdainful. Lu Xingchen looked helpless. As for Qin Feiyang, the appearance of Wan Qiu and the others did not affect him at all. He was still sitting cross-legged on the king crocodile's back. Time passed breath by breath. After 10 breaths, boom! Suddenly, 5 powerful auras emerged from the nearby forest. Then, 5 different battle arts whizzed towards Qin Feiyang. Lu Xingchen was shocked. He turned around and immediately saw a familiar battle art. It was Feng Wuxia's flowing fire of the phoenix. Then, he looked past the battle arts and looked at the forest behind him. He saw Feng Wuxia and the other four rush out of the forest, full of murderous intent. At the same time, Fatso, who was fighting with Wan Qiu, turned around and looked back. Just as Fat Lord expected, they will return to kill boss. But, who will kill who? I'm looking forward to it. He muttered to himself. While fighting with Wan Qiu, he sneered. You guys are really despicable. Haven't you heard of this saying? The winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. Wan Qiu didn't care. At the same time, he attacked with all his strength and firmly restrained Fatso, not allowing Fatso to escape. But he didn't know that Fatso had no intention of saving Qin Feiyang and the others. In the blink of an eye, on the shore, seeing Feng Wuxia and the other four, Lu Xingchen immediately shouted angrily, "Is this the style of the Kong state and you state?" But the five of them ignored him. They only had Qin Feiyang in their eyes. Naive. Lu Xingchen shook his head. Although Fatso wasn't here, there was a terrifying beast emperor here. Clang! The black dragon snake attacked. And it decisively took out its reverse scale. The giant reverse scale flickered with a cold glint like a sharp blade, as it slashed across the sky, and collided with the 5 battle arts. Boom! With a loud bang, the 4 one-star battle arts were destroyed on the spot. Blood spurted out of their mouths. Feng Wuxia's phoenix fire and the reverse scale were in a stalemate for a moment before disintegrating. Cracks appeared on the reverse scale, but they were instantly repaired. How is this possible? Feng Wuxia and the others were stunned. They knew that the black dragon snake was a 2-star battle ancestor, but they never expected it to be so strong. What the hell was that scale? It could destroy their battle arts without breaking? It was only at this moment that they realized what the pondering look in the fatty's eyes meant. It was mocking them for overestimating themselves. At the same time, the black dragon snake looked at the 5 of them in disdain and said, "You trash dare to sneak attack us? You must be tired of living. Let's go." Feng Wuxia came back to his senses and made a prompt decision to retreat. "Since you're here, don't leave." The black dragon snake's eyes shone fiercely. Clang! The reverse scale let out an ear-piercing sound and charged toward the 5 of them like lightning with an apocalyptic sharpness. Its speed was even faster than the 5 of them running away. "You guys go, I'll stop it." Feng Wuxia saw that the situation was bad and suddenly turned around. His long hair fluttered in the air as he roared. "Fire Beacon City!" Above his head, a sea of fire suddenly appeared. In the sea of fire, 2 huge cities floated, as if 2 ancient demon cities had appeared, releasing a vast aura. Boom! The first city fell with a loud bang, causing the ground to tremble. Clang! The first city collided with the reverse scale, and was in a stalemate. The city was torn apart, and cracks appeared on the reverse scale. But the black dragon snake was not afraid at all. It continued to control the reverse scale, and attacked the second city, because it was confident that before it collided with the second city, the cracks on the reverse scale would be repaired. However, Lu Xingchen roared at this moment. "Don't fight it head-on, dodge it first." When Feng Wuxia and Fushan fought, he was at the scene, so he knew about the Fire Beacon City. The speed of the second city's descent was several times faster than the first city. At this speed, the second city could collide with the reverse scale before it repaired itself. At that time, the reverse scale would definitely shatter. Once the reverse scale was destroyed, the black dragon snake's cultivation would immediately fall to a 1-star battle ancestor. At that time, not only would it not be able to kill Feng Wuxia and the other 4, but it would also be killed by them. But the black dragon snake did not know this. Hearing Lu Xingchen's reminder, it wanted to take back the reverse scale. But it was too late. Boom! The second city came crashing down. A loud explosion resounded through the sky. Without any suspense, the reverse scale was instantly shattered, and the black dragon snake's aura suddenly plummeted. However, that city was also shattered by the reverse scale. It could be considered a mutual destruction. After shattering the reverse scale, Feng Wuxia was ready to turn around and leave. Lu Xingchen also breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Feng Wuxia left, the crisis would naturally be gone. But after taking 2 steps, Feng Wuxia suddenly stopped and turned to look at the black dragon snake, his eyes filled with surprise. Obviously, he noticed the abnormality of the black dragon snake. Battle soul open. Suddenly, behind Feng Wuxia, a wave of fire rushed into the sky. A fire phoenix flapped its huge wings and floated in the sky. Although he did not know what was going on, his experience told him that the destruction of the scale had caused a serious injury to the black dragon snake. At his cultivation level, he naturally knew how to grasp the opportunity, so he did not hesitate to open his battle soul and give Qin Feiyang and the others a fatal blow. Innate divine power, heavenly phoenix eye. Following Feng Wuxia's cold shout, the fire phoenix closed its eyes and suddenly opened them again. 2 bright beams of light burst out of its eyes, exuding a destructive aura, and charged towards Qin Feiyang and the others. Dodge! Lu Xingchen shouted and hurriedly dodged to the side. The black dragon snake and the king crocodile were also shocked and ran for their lives. Little bug, do you know now? No matter who you are facing, you cannot underestimate them. If you were careful just now, you would not have suffered such a big loss. But at this moment a calm voice sounded. Qin Feiyang, Lu Xingchen, the king crocodile, and the black dragon snake were overjoyed. Boom! At the same time, Qin Feiyang, who was sitting cross-legged on the king crocodile's back, suddenly unleashed his aura. He was now a 1-star combat grandmaster. I've finally broken through, Qin Feiyang muttered to himself. He suddenly opened his eyes, and 2 cold rays of light shot out of them. Now that this fellow is awake, it'll be fine. Lu Xingchen smiled. The king crocodile and the black dragon snake did not run anymore. Qin Feiyang stood up and leaped down from the king crocodile's back. He looked up at Feng Wuxia and said, "The siblings are amazing for being able to predict our location. However, I don't know if they've foreseen that all of you will die today." His voice was calm, but it was filled with a majestic aura that sent chills down one's spine. As soon as he finished speaking, flames shot up from behind him. The 9-leaf fire lotus had appeared. Clang! 2 leaves fell off and shot toward the 2 beams of light. Explode! When they were near, Qin Feiyang spoke indifferently. The 2 fire lotus leaves suddenly exploded, giving birth to a destructive power. The 2 beams of light instantly dissipated into nothingness. Indeed, the fire phoenix is a rare battle soul. However, it's nothing compared to me. As soon as Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he no longer cared about the fire phoenix. He used the phantom steps and charged toward Feng Wuxia. We'll see. Feng Wuxia's eyes gleamed. In the end, he chose to avoid the attack. He turned around and left, but he did not recall his battle soul. Chirp! The fire phoenix let out a high-pitched cry. It flapped its wings and charged toward Qin Feiyang ferociously. Feng Wuxia wanted to use the fire phoenix to buy him enough time to leave. However, he did not know. He would regret this decision for the rest of his life. Qin Feiyang stopped in his tracks. He looked at Feng Wuxia's back and said softly, "Since you've left your battle soul behind, don't even think about taking it back." After he finished speaking, Wolf King appeared out of thin air. Qin Feiyang said, "Strip him of his battle soul." "Easy." Wolf King chuckled. A huge golden beast appeared behind him. He shouted, "Devour!" Immediately, the golden beast opened its mouth wide. A gust of wind rose in this place. The fire phoenix flew toward the mouth uncontrollably. What's going on? Feng Wuxia, who was fleeing, was horrified. He was shocked to discover that he had lost contact with his battle soul. He turned around immediately. When he saw the golden beast, his face turned pale immediately. The fire phoenix was about to enter the golden beast's mouth. However, at this moment, a terrifying battle chi shot out and struck the fire phoenix. Boom! The fire phoenix was annihilated on the spot. Who's there? Come out and die. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.